Hey everybody, this is Geneva of Geneva's Closet Talk Show. Please make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to Geneva's Closet if you haven't already done so right here on YouTube. And you can follow me on Facebook at Geneva's Closet. And you can email me at genevascloset22@gmail.com. Now, let's get into
Sunday. It is Sunday, isn't it? I almost forgot. I'm a little tired. I'm dragging a little bit, but that's all right, though. That's usually how Sundays are. But how y'all doing, everybody? How y'all doing, everybody? Are you ready for part 3 of this interview? Finding out about who is Essie Berry. So, if you've been here, because for a lot of people that do know about Essie Berry, you probably heard her going on and on and on about Steve Harvey is harassing me and he's a troll and all of that. And you probably didn't understand where that was coming from. So we got into that a little bit yesterday. And we're going to get into it a little bit more today. But today, part 3 of the interview, we are talking to Miss Essie Berry's bodyguard slash ex-husband, because they just got a divorce in 2019. And what is that all about? Because even though they got a divorce, they are still this tight, and he is still her bodyguard. But we're going to find out about him. Who is he? Who is this man? And then, do he got any information about Rerun? Do he got any information about Mary and Steve Harvey? What do he got to say about Essie Berry? We're going to get into it, people, and he's here. Hey everybody, hey everybody, hey, how y'all doing? Thank you for joining me, and let's get into it. And we have with us the man that you probably done heard of but haven't seen, and this is Fred Payne. Where is he? How you doing, Fred? How you doing?
How you doing, Jig? How you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm so happy to have you here with us today. People like Essie has definitely talked about you before. I have mentioned you before too. A lot of people haven't seen you. I've seen Fred before and I've talked to Fred before. I think he's a cool guy. I actually like Fred. 2 thumbs up for Mr. Fred Payne. And yes, he do have the same first name as Fred Rerun Berry. Yes, but this is Fred Payne. So don't get him confused. We're talking to Fred Payne right now. But anyway, Fred, so I think the first question that I'm going to ask you is, where are you from?
I'm from Compton, California. Born in LA, raised in Compton.
Okay, and have you been in Compton all your life? And since you are from LA Compton, are you in some type of gang or something? Just asking people.
Yes, I was affiliated with the West Side Pyru, and also was affiliated with the North Side Island Pyru out of Pomona, California. That's a little suburb outside of Compton, LA, for y'all that don't know. But y'all that know, you know.
Right, because I sure did not know. But I know right now you seem to be a very spiritual man. Is that true, Fred?
Yes, ma'am. The Lord is my higher. Look, all I know is I follow Jesus every day, and I strive to do what I'm supposed to do according to him.
Period. That's period, Pooh. That's period. So, Fred, how did you meet Miss Essie Berry? So now we're about to get into the story. And then remember, like I told you, you can expound, say whatever you want to say about this whole thing. But how did you come across Miss Essie Berry?
I met Essie Berry in Barstow, California, back in 2009, a little bit after my first granddaughter was born. I was on a job out there, and I was at the house, and I always wear hats. Everybody that know me know I have a hat on my head. I ain't got no hat on my head right now because I just ain't got a hat on my head. But anyway, I needed a hat. I didn't really need a hat, but I wanted a hat. So just an excuse to get out the house, actually. So I jumped in my car, and I rode to where they sell the hats. The hat store didn't have the hat that I wanted. So I rode to the local little, they had like a little flea market swap meet type thing there. I rode over there, and I pulled up, and I seen Essie. She was on the phone. I was like, dang, and I like little short women. I was like, damn, little short, sexy y'all. So I was like, I was walking, and she spoke. She said, how you doing? I said, hey, how you doing? And I kept it moving, because she was on the phone. I kept it moving, went to the back of the store, see if they had my hat. They didn't have my hat, So when I came back, I seen her. She was inside the store. She was in the front. And she spoke again, and I spoke to her. And she was inside like a little booth thing there. And I said, what's happening up in here? She was telling me what she did up in there. So we just sat down and I just got to talking to her, you know. Not that I was trying to hit on her or anything. It's just, I was just talking to her. Then when I seen her, she looked up at me. And when she looked up at me, it was something, I don't know, just something that touched my spirit, you know. And I was like, well, dang, what's happening? You know, so I was like, let me holler at her. So we were hollering. We were talking going back and forth. And I was compelled to stay there and keep conversating with her. Because normally I don't do that. I mean, I'm not I don't be like, I ain't trying to sound conceited or nothing, but I'm not the type of dude, I don't be chasing after women and stuff. You know, if I happen to see one that catch my eye and I'm interested, I'm gonna holler at her. And she can't say one thing off or anything like that, I'm gone. I ain't gonna keep pursuing. I don't do that, you know. But there was just something about her that kept me interested, kept me intrigued, kept me wanting to know more about her. So I stayed and I continued to conversate with her. And as I continued to conversate with her, I felt my spirit draw more closer to her. You know, she reminded me of somebody very special to me, which was my aunt that raised me. I guess it's because of her Southern roots. But I didn't know that at the time, you know. But I could see she was from the South because I can tell by her accent. But far as her being like me connecting her to my aunt, I just felt something from her because my aunt. When I looked at my aunt that raised me, I felt the same about her, far as you know, a connection and the utmost respect and stuff like that, you know. And I seen an innocence in her, you know what I'm saying. And then when I sat down and talked to her, I was intrigued with her story. And I was like, well, dang, that's kind of messed up, you know, and like, it was like people was like looking for her and stuff like that, you know, and that's not cool because I don't believe in men disrespecting women and women being disrespected, period, you know. So I was like, well, what's happening? I mean, can I, you know, you need some assistance? What can I do? You know, I mean, I was just trying to offer anything I can to, like, you know, be there for her to help comfort her, you know. Not saying that she was all frantic and broke down and all that, but I just wanted to be a part of protecting her in any way that I can at that time. I didn't even know her. There's just something about her, like I said.
So does that mean that, okay, so is that when you became her bodyguard? So you became her bodyguard first then?
Yes, ma'am. What we did was we talked and we was talking and she didn't tell me right out nothing about Rerun. But when she was talking, you know, like I'm not as dumb as I look. So just by listening to her conversation, I picked up on that. I said, well, dang, I said, what you related to Rerun or something? Just from her conversation. And she didn't even say Rerun. And she said, how'd you know? I said, I just picked that up, you know? And then she proceeded to tell me that, you know, somebody was, you know, that's when she was dealing with the suit and fest thing and people looking for her and all that, you know. And I was like, well, dang, you know. I said, well, hey, where you stay at? You know, she told me where she stayed at and whatever, and we got to talking. So I told her, I said, look, I got my number. You know, I had her number. We exchanged numbers, and we just started, you know, I just started making myself more available. I didn't have nothing going on anyway. The job I was waiting for, I was working, but we was like shut down for a minute, you know. So I had to wait to go back to work, you know, for the type of work that I was doing. So I was shut down and I had a lot of time on my hands and I wasn't working. I was bored and get out and do something. You can only do so many push-ups and do so many weights. You know, I had to get out and get some sun, you know.
Okay, so when did y'all start dating?
Dating, I don't know if you actually call it dating. We just started hanging out. You know what I'm saying? If she needed to go somewhere, I was driving her, you know. If she wanted something to eat, I said, hey, you hungry? We go get something to eat. You know, dating, I don't even think I've ever really been on a date. You know, I always go scoop some girl up, say, come on, let's go do this. And like I finished when I dropped them off, you know. But I don't know. I don't know if you want to call it dating. That was dating. That was right soon as we met, I started making myself available to her. You know, she came to the house. She met my granddaughter. You know, she met my daughter-in-law, you know, and all that.
So when did the whole marriage thing come in? So what made y'all get married?
I had got shortly after we met, I had got called on the job to go work, do a job in Las Vegas at a power plant. Everybody don't know I'm a boilermaker. I was a boilermaker by trade. We built power plants, we built oil refineries, we built solar fields, and we maintained them. Well, we had a shutdown we had to go do in right outside Las Vegas, Nevada. So I was gonna be gone. We just had a brand new grandbaby. My daughter-in-law's at the house. So Essie came over and met and everything. I gave Essie a key to the house. I said, look, stay here and, you know, look after her. We could, you know. And then I ended up taking her on the road with me so that she can be with me so I can keep an eye on her.
So is that when y'all got married on the road? Did you marry her on the road or like when did that happen?
Yeah, we're not on the road, but we got married, and like I said, I figured she was gonna be with me, and I wanted everything to be like right. And she was like, "Well, I don't know you. I'm just not gonna just go on the road with you. You know, I only do that with my husband and stuff like that. So, well, let's go on and get married so we can make this right, so you can be comfortable and calm down, you know, and then I can do what I do, you know." So we went and got married, April 9th, 2009. It was an Easter. You know, they keep changing Easter every year, but it's Easter Resurrection Sunday. Actually, that's what I prefer to call it. So on Resurrection Sunday, we got married in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wow, I didn't know that y'all got married in Las Vegas. Okay, so do you feel like, well, now hearing the story, so were y'all in love when you got married, or were y'all just doing it so, you know, it can be comfortable for y'all on the road? Y'all knew each other. I mean, like, was it really love in there?
I loved her. I still love her. I mean, ain't nothing gonna stop me from loving her. I love her. You know, I have been married 2 times before, and I can't even say them marriages was love. You know what I'm saying? But I love her, and I was in love with her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was in love with her.
Okay, look how Fred said that. He was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was in love with her. I was in love with her. So, Fred, do you think that you were ever maybe intrigued by the fact that she was the widow of Fred Rerun Berry, or that had nothing to do with y'all's relationship?
No, I mean, she was a widow of Rerun. I mean, Rerun was just some dude that danced on TV, pop locked on TV. I used to watch him. I mean, what? I mean, it was just another dude. He just happened to be on TV. I'm not starstruck like that. That kind of stuff don't turn me on. You know what I'm saying? I was intrigued. I was like, well, dang, this dude widow, and how did he get her? Looking at him. You know what I'm saying? That was what I was thinking. How did they, you know, excuse me, but how did this dude get her? You know, look at him. You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, dang. But no, it just, what intrigued me was the fact that how these people, once I heard the whole story, I mean, y'all need to realize I've been with Essie since 2009. So everything that Essie been through, I was there, right beside her, right by her side. So everything, I know a lot of stuff. Just for y'all, especially y'all out there in the bushes, peeking around the corners, trying to hide up under the bed and stuff. Y'all know who I'm talking to. I know everything, okay? I know a lot of things.
Y'all better stop playing with him. Fred told you he already know. And since Fred done brought it up, he said that he's been there the whole time. We might as well just go ahead and get right into this whole Mary and Steve thing. So, Fred, when did this whole Steve Mary thing first pop up for you? And give us your side of the story. We done heard Essie tell her side a lot of times, but now we're hearing it from you. What happened? Tell us the details, your side of this story.
Okay. I got called to go do a job in St. John's, Arizona. Y'all that don't know, it's off the 40 going toward New Mexico. It's up in the mountain, the White Mountain region. It don't get hot out there, so no, it wasn't hot, it was cold. But I called to go do a job. It was a long-term job. Me and Essie went. And I eventually got Essie on that job, but at this particular time she wasn't on the job. She had a lot of downtime, and she had got contacted by a couple of producers, some ladies, and they was talking about doing a reality show called Widow, Wives, and Exes. And we was running about it. That's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know. And she had talked to, I guess it was Rerun's, one of his managers or one of his longtime buddies or something. She had found this dude after like 30-something years. You know, she had found him. You know, and I was like, well, dang, you know, that right there, like, well, dang, girl, she kind of bad, you know. She about that. She about her business. So, you know what I'm saying? She about her business. So that really intrigued me. You know, and I was like, well, shoot, I'm glad I grabbed onto this because I'm going to hang on to this. I ain't no dummy, like I said earlier. You know, I might look like one, but I ain't no dummy. So I hung on to her. I was like, yeah, okay. But anyway, getting back to the story, we were sitting there and she was like, well, hey, I need, they're going to use all of Rerun's exes. And I was like, okay. And she said, well, we need some more celebrity widows, celebrity wives, and, you know, people that, you know. And I think at that particular time, I think Eddie Murphy's wife, him and her was having issues. And I think one of R. Kelly's wives. And then we used to always watch Family Feud, you know. And Family Feud just happened to be coming on. I heard Steve Harvey's voice on Family Feud. And I was like, I looked, and I remember looking on the internet one day, and I just happened to see, you know, Mary Harvey, Steve Harvey's wife, you know, she did an interview, but I just stopped to look at it. I just happened to see that. And that jumped in my mind. I was like, well, damn, don't Steve Harvey got a ex-wife or something? And she was like, yeah. And I said, well, she might be pretty good, you know, because we were just throwing names, throwing stuff out there. So she reached out to her. She did her research like she do. I mean, Reese, man, she be researching, okay? She did her research like she do. Came across Mary, found Mary, started conversating with Mary. I'm in the front, and I seen her talking, and she always on the phone talking. So I know who she was talking to, but she was talking. And I was like, what the hell are you talking to? She said, I was talking to Mary Harvey. So Mary, you talking about Steve Harvey? I said, you found her? I said, yeah. I said, she down? She said, yeah, she down. I was like, cool. They said, but she can't say. There's certain things she can't say. And I said, what she can't say? She said, they had told her she's under gag order. I said, she's under gag order. What dude I don't understand why she's under gag order. You know, who do that? You know, like she was married to the dude. Let her tell her truth. You know, tell her story. You know, and it just sounded kind of weird to me. But she just said, you know, so she just started talking to her. You know, she'd be on that phone for hours and hours. I ended up talking to her. I talked to Barry for hours and hours on the phone, and she was breaking a lot of stuff down to me. And I was like, well, dang. Not that I never really gave a thought about Steve Harvey. Like I said, he was just some dude on TV. I thought he was a pretty good host. And I used to watch the Steve Harvey show when he was a teacher in school, him and Sid and all that. I used to watch that. You know, but it wasn't like I broke my neck to get to the TV to turn it on so I wouldn't miss an episode. It wasn't nothing like that. It's just when I felt like watching TV and that happened to be on, I happened to watch that, you know. But after hearing what Mary was telling me, I was like, well, dang, you know. And just when the receipts start coming in, the actual proof that I started like, well, dang, dude, this is a straight piece of work. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, wow, you know, so that kind of even drew me toward Mary even that much more because my heart went out to her because I can't see that a man who professes himself to be a man, a real man, do what he did to this woman, this black queen. You know, I couldn't understand that. And then I seen the thing about the boy, what he did to his boy. You know, I was abused as a child, you know, so I know. You know, I wasn't abused to the extent that he was abused, but I was abused as a child, and I thought that was kind of messed up. You know, for this man who's on TV, millions of people love him, and he's giving all this advice to do this to his son, his seed, flesh of his flesh. You know, for him to do that baby like that. And that kind of like, I was like, wow, how could you do that, dude? You know? And Hey, I didn't think very highly of him. I never really thought very highly of him because, like I said, he was just some other dude. You know, I gave him his props because he a black man just like me, and he a couple of years older than me. You know, and this dude, I mean, you say he from Ohio, somewhere in Ohio, somewhere. You know, so I'm like, well, damn, they got streets out. Maybe you know, he came out here and he brought us up. He came up. You know, and he's getting recognition. And I was like, well, cool. I was like, you know, I was giving him his props on that. You know, dude, you done came up. You doing your thing, you know. But then when I seen that, you know, I was like, you know, how could you do this over here and then come over here like this and be trying to be one way over here? If you're gonna do something, be the same way all the time, you know, because what's in the dark will come to light, you know. And then
I'm sorry, Fred. I accidentally pressed the button, but I did want to ask you, how did you feel? Because I know Mary was like in and out of this whole thing with Essie while she was sitting there fighting on the internet by herself. How did you feel about that? Seeing your wife at the time, 'cause at this time she was your wife, on the internet, kind of fighting by herself, and Mary being in and out of it. One minute she involved, next minute she not involved. What was your feelings on that?
you know, she was fighting by herself, but she wasn't really by herself because I was right there at her side. And then when she needed to be comforted, I comforted her. You know what I'm saying? Did I get tired of it times? Hell yeah, I got tired of it. You know what I'm saying? But I was always there for her and will continue to always be there no matter what nobody say, think, or feel. You know? Ain't nobody finna scare me away with the little scary videos, the little scary phone calls. This dude was calling. Look, where I come from, when you get drunk, we say you wet. This dude calling, he wet and thirsty at the same time, calling her 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with these obnoxious phone calls and stuff. I'm sitting right beside her listening to this cat, you know.
Okay. Because what Fred is talking about now is Fred, because when Fred said he was making phone calls 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Fred is talking about Steve Harvey. Now we're gonna get Fred's side of this because we've always been hearing Essie saying that Steve Harvey and Marjorie and them are stalking her. And a lot of people hear her saying that and they like, oh, she crazy. Steve Harvey's a millionaire. He wouldn't be on that stalking you. But Fred has said the exact same thing. Now he's sitting back there with Essie with the phone calls, the text messages, all of that stuff. So now we're hearing what Fred have to say about it. So Fred, what you're telling us is that you are saying that you feel like this is Steve Harvey. This was Steve, Marjorie, all of them. So tell us all of it, Fred.
Okay, at the beginning of these phone calls, that was Steve Harvey, but he was drunk. You know what I'm saying? And he was too upset. The things that he was saying, calling her out her name and stuff. Mind you, when I seen that he built what he did to his son, my mind I already considered him as being a little punk anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because what real man do that? And then when he was calling her bitches and hoes and all that, what real man do that anyway? I don't understand that. You know, so that means he has that in him. I mean, that's what he was projecting. What he was letting that come out during his drunkardness. You know, and then of course his wife, she don't want to hang on to the bag. You know, because if I understand, she used to be with the dudes getting their money on back in Tennessee. You know, big money. You know, so she used to get paid. She used to have her money. And I can't knock that. You know, she was a little cutie pie. I understand all that. You know, Steve was lucky that he got her. You know what I'm saying? And he had to hang on to the best way he can. And Essie coming out, busting him out like she was. And I got to give it to her. She was holding her own. But hey, she was fighting with women. Even him. As far as I was concerned, he was a woman. Even this other dude on this other channel, on these channels that's coming at her, are women. One of them hiding behind the door. What real man hide behind the door, calling the women people, you're a bitch, you're a hoe, you're this, you're a bald headed. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I don't understand that. I can't wrap my mind around that. You know, what real man does that? It's just sad.
Absolutely, that's very true. Now, I heard in the midst of this whole troll thing that some of your family members went over there. Now, what family members went over there? And how do you feel? Like, what is that all about, Fred? So some of your family members, I mean, so what was it? They just don't like Essie? They mad at you about something in the past? Or they don't like the fact that you with Essie? But what would cause your family members to go on the side of the troll people that's stalking Essie on the internet, on YouTube?
Well, my stepsister went over there. Yeah, and yeah, you are my stepsister, believe me. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. I know the whole story. You need to ask yourself why mom was treating you the way she was when you was younger, why you was being called the names you was being called. You need to understand why. You never know why, because I never told you why. I know why. You know, I know why. So, but anyway, Essie Essie has a real good heart. I mean, she has a big her heart's bigger than her, you know, and she's always giving. She's always want to help somebody. Her mouth is as big as her heart too, because you know she's gonna speak her opinion. She's gonna hear. She don't want you to hear what she got to say. I don't care if she said it 50 million times. She's still gonna want you to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But she had asked me when we first got together. She was like, "Well, hey, why you don't you got sisters, you know, and all this. Why you don't reach out to them?" I said, "Well, there's a reason why I don't do that." You know, I said I just left it at that. I didn't go into the full detail why I didn't do that or whatever. She said, "Well, look, I got a sister, and you know, and then she just broke hers down, you know." So I was like, well, I just said, hey, I just had certain reasons. I didn't tell her exactly why, and I'm not going to tell everybody all my business like that anyway, because none of y'all business, you know. But I just didn't feel like I had to be like that with them, because I knew how they are. But anyway, Essie, this particular sister, Essie done things for her, helped her out. She was short on some funds. Essie broke her off. I didn't want to send her nothing. Essie broke her off. You know what I'm saying? Essie made sure that she gave her the money. Essie went and did the girl's hair, weaves, and all this. Her daughter was having issues at a job that she worked at, and Essie stepped in, you know, in the civil rights activist capacity to make sure that, you know, the daughter's rights wasn't being violated, you know. And I mean, this is back 2016. I got a card here. You know how you get little cards, birthday cards and Mother's Day card, Father's Day card, and you have a tendency to keep them. I got a card here. This card right here. From my sister, my stepsister. Okay? I don't know if y'all can see that. This is dated. This is dated. Hold on, let me see. 2016. See that date down there? Okay. This was her handwriting. I'm going to read it to y'all because I don't know how to do this. It's my first time on camera. It said, Essie, I want you to know it is a pleasure having you as a sister in my life. Many blessings. She signed it, and her little daughter signed it. That's it right here. This is back in Mother's Day, 2016. Okay? So she feeling like this. She wrote it on a card. She spent her money on the card. She spent $2.75 on this card. Did the envelope, made it up, put Essie's name on it. Okay? And presented it to her. She was feeling this in her heart at that time. Okay? So why all of a sudden it's a whole different story when it comes to Essie? You know? I don't understand. And then when it comes to me, but I can understand why it doesn't come to me, because they already know, they know that I really don't care about what anybody think about me or say about me or whatever. I'm gonna do me anyway, regardless what you feel. They already know that about me, and they know that I'm gonna speak my mind. You know, but her and Essie was tight. I mean, they was cool. I wouldn't say they was tight like that, but they was cool. Essie used to talk to her on the phone. The girl needed a few dollars. She had a few dollars. Like I said, she needed her hair done. She had her hair done. I bought Essie a $300 wig one time. She ended up getting to a little niece. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know. All I know is the girl, I don't know what's going through her mind. I know that she probably has a lot of time on her hands, you know, and she was always talking about her boyfriend that nobody ever really met, you know. And for what I understand, there's a clown on that other page that's stalking Essie, who we truly believe is this one of Steve's homeboys, Ricky Anderson, Tricky Ricky, I call him. But Ricky Anderson, he's an attorney or something, you know. And she calling this dude her baby daddy. Now, you need a man that much, that bad, that you got to call this clown your baby daddy. I mean, you know, but hey, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to go and push past that.
Okay, now. So, wait a minute. You said she called Ricky Anderson her baby daddy? Ding, 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 ding. That's that thing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know, and I truly believe that they're jealous of me and Essie's relationship. You know, Essie's the type of girl, I be in the bed, okay? I wake up in the middle of the night like, hey, show you something to, you know, something to eat. Right when I'm thinking something like that, here come Essie. You hungry? I'm like, what? No, you didn't just ask me if I was hungry. Hell, don't I look hungry? I stay hungry. My big ass, I'm 300 pounds. You know, I stay hungry. So this girl go in the kitchen. She won't make me no egg sandwich and stuff like that you throw together. She gonna do me a steak, do me some grits, some eggs, some toast. You know what I'm saying? Squeeze the lemonade, orange juice, lemonade, whatever at the particular time. And come back in there and say, hey, your food ready. You know, because I don't like sitting in my bed. I got to go to the table and eat. So she come get your food. We go and get my food. I eat. We clown. We go back. She go back to her room. I go to my room. You know, yeah, we have separate. Yes, and we do have separate rooms. We slept in separate beds because if we want to get with each other, we can go either place to get with each other. I'm a big dude. I need my room. I snore, you know, and if I'm holding on to her, I squash her. You know what I'm saying? Po, dang, she's only 4'9". You know, didn't I tell you I'm over 300 pounds? So, you know, she had her little spot. She stay on the phone all hours of the night. I ain't trying to hear that. She watch TV all hours of the night. I ain't trying to hear that. I go in there, listen to my oldies. I read my Bible, do me a few push-ups, and take my butt to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing. Oh, that is so cute, y'all relationship. That's funny. You was like, man, I'm thinking that I'm hungry. Essie coming there, baby, you hungry? Let me go ahead and make you a steak and some grits and some eggs and some toast and some. I can't wait till I move out there because I'm hungry too. You know, Fred, I want to eat. You know, can I get a plate too with Fred, Essie?
Hey, she gonna make sure you eat. She gonna feed you. That's for sure. She gonna make sure you eat, you know. But it ain't just one side. I get down too now. But hey, she gonna make sure you eat. She gonna take care of you. She good people. She had a real good heart. You know what I'm saying? She made this thing behind me. You see this? Y'all see this thing behind me? She made this. She said, take me to the store. I took it up to Home Depot and bought some stuff. The hell, you need some sticks? What you finna do now? She always doing something. So what you finna do now? She bought some sticks. She went and got some yarn and stuff. And she was in here doing this. Probably while she was on the phone talking to you, doing this. And I said, what's that? She said, we'll make you something. I said, okay. She said, what color? I said, of course I want red and black, you know? So she made this. She made it for me. Ain't nobody ever done that for me. You know? Nobody took that time out to make it for me. And she didn't stop making it until it was completed. She didn't stop like the day and took it 2 or 3 weeks to do it. She done this. It probably took her like 3 days, if that, you know, because she had other things she was doing. You know, she was doing shows with you. You know, she was helping people to be caught, because she's always talking to somebody. She's always trying to help somebody, you know. So, of course, I'm going to be there for her. Husband or not, I'm going to be there. I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? As long as I got breath in my lungs, I will be there for Essie Berry. Period. You know.
Won't he do it, people? Won't he do it? Every one of us need a Fred in our life. We need a little bit of Fred sprinkled in our life. Now, Fred, now look, I'm about to bring this up. I don't know how you going to feel about this question. Answer it however you may, okay? But I only bringing this up because Miss Berry brought it up. So, hey, you know, whatever. Miss Berry, because you said that y'all sleeping separate, because actually I had forgot to even put this on my questions, but you brought it up. You said y'all sleep in separate rooms. You said it don't matter, married or not, you gonna be there for her, you with her, and because y'all got a divorce in 2019. Miss Berry said y'all, in 8 years, y'all haven't had sex. So you got any words on that, Mr. Payne?
Well, far far as I'm concerned, like I said, that's nobody's business. What we have and what we don't have. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on here to tell my business. I'm on here to get and tell you about me and Essie Berry to an extent. What goes on behind in the bedrooms and all that, that's nobody's business. Period. But y'all.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, because I thought I heard Miss Berry in the background. I thought I heard Miss Berry. Okay, well, here go another question about y'all relationship that you can choose to answer how you may. Why y'all get a divorce in 2019? Like, what's that all about? Especially since y'all still together. I guess I don't know. Like, what is the status of y'all relationship? But why did y'all get a divorce?
Look, we got the divorce because look, me and Essie's together. You know, I love Essie. You know, and I was always her bodyguard. When I met her, I was her bodyguard, and I kicked in there as a bodyguard. Period. I've been married, like I said, but I've never really been married. You know what I'm saying? And also, though, really though, how my family did her. How, you know, she came in, you know, with open arms, wanting to embrace everybody, but then she ended up clashing with everybody. You know, I mean, when I say everybody, I mean everybody. You know, and well, not everybody, but you know, they know who they is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even going to mention them, but they know who they is. But it's just sad, you know, for her to be knowing that what I know about her, and for her being the way that she's been, as far as loving and all that, for them to like shun her and turn their back. How would somebody want to be in a relationship like that with somebody that you married, that you took their last name? So every time you go to Easter, or not Easter, he's saying Easter, every time you go to functions and stuff that has to do with them, that they're at, how you would feel like you the oddball out when you're married into this particular family. You know, I even feel like the oddball out when I go to some of them, and I don't even go to them anymore. It's just sad, you know. So it's best that, you know, we not be married, because we're always going to be connected. Essie is my family, okay? Period. She's my family. You know, I've spoken to some of her family on the Chicago side. Her sons call me Pops. You know what I'm saying? Her grandkids, I'm their grandfather. We family. Whether we married or not, we gonna stay family, you know? And when anybody think about that, think what you think, period.
Yeah, well, you know what? I just think that is because that means since 2009, it's 11 right now. Y'all been together for 12 years. She got a divorce in 2019, and y'all still together. Maybe not in a relationship, but you're still there. Well, Miss Berry done popped herself. Get in the Miss Berry. Look how Fred looking. Miss.
I was like, well, damn. So you know I got something to do today, and she was gone. When did you get back?
A few minutes ago. Hey y'all. I just wanna pop in. Hey everybody, love y'all. I love this interview. It was amazing. Let me be quiet. Sorry.
God, this woman done popped out of nowhere, and then I'm looking at her hair. What she done did to her hair? I'm telling this damn master cosmetologist stuff. We never gonna see this woman one way. She's always looking another way. Miss Berry, what are you doing now? Look, we would love to see y'all dynamic. Fred, what you got to say?
Hey, all I know is every time I turn around, I got a different woman in the house. You know, one day she got braids, next day she got this, next day she got that. Hey, when she braid her hair, it don't take her no time to do it either. I mean, she started braiding, so I feel like braiding my hair. I said, yeah, okay, how long you gonna keep it in? Well, I like this style, I'm gonna keep this style. I said, we're gonna get down there, girl. I go to bed, wake up, she done. And I ain't talking about no big braid. I'm talking about little micro braid. They call them micro braids. And I've been around it long enough to know. I can tell when you got a weave in your head. I can tell when your lace front ain't on right. I can tell the ponytails. I can tell all that because I've been around her enough. You know, I just seen that. You know, but she do what she do. I have to give her props. I really admire her. She's very she really do intrigue me. And I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? She can sing. we did some songs. You know, I had her in the booth. You know, one of the homies, and had her in the booth. We did some songs. I made a couple of beats for her. You know, and I was like, she was anime. I mean, not the beating part, but you know, I made her, you know, anime.
Nah, he turned into Ike in that booth, y'all. I'm telling you that. He only called me and be like, anime, get in the booth, bro. And he talked like that when we was in the studio. Just saying. So a lot of the music that y'all do here, and the beats and stuff, Fred did all that. I just put the words to it. You give me a beat, then I can do it. And the young lady too, I want to just let you know, we'll do you some music later. I don't want to interrupt this interview because he's going to clown me on here. I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow. Essie, so did you listen to the interview? And if you did listen to it, okay, so what is, because Fred just gave his opinion on the whole troll situation, y'all relationship. So you got anything you want to say about that? And the people said you look pretty, girl.
Thank you for the people about how I look. I appreciate that. I'm just gonna be pretty all the time. Not just when I get some hair on my head. I was pretty yesterday, day before that, and day before that. The trolling thing, I hate it happen because it's Fred's family. And I thought that we had a better relationship than that. But I can't look at that because God has allowed me to grow so tremendously. No matter how it may seem with me and Fred, we are family. And no matter what they do on those pages and his family got paid, I believe they got paid with Twinkies and everything else too. I'm just saying. And it's okay now because like he said, he had been there because sometime even with you, Geneva, I would talk about it, but I couldn't believe that people who are bloodline, including my bloodline, would talk to some people that's behind masks and ghosts and clown faces, and you don't even know them, and they're setting you up. What did they gain by doing that? What did they gain by stalking me? What did they gain by disrespecting their brother on some people pages that they didn't know?
Who do that though, for real though? I mean, like people that you don't even know. I mean, if you hate me, you dislike me, you got an issue with me, that's cool. Like you said yesterday, G, call me on the phone, text me, F you, you know, whatever, you know, so I can go on and clown you and send you on your way. You know what I'm saying? But for you to just go on some random fool's page, I like to call them intellectual morons. That's what I like to call them. That's exactly what they are. Because all they're going to do is hide behind the keyboard. A lot of them, you can tell a lot of them are attorneys. And I think one of them is a judge, you know, and paralegals or whatever. They sitting behind the keyboard. The only thing they're going to say, oh, we're going to gag you. We're going to put a warrant against you if you don't shut up. They're like dogs barking behind a fence. You open up the fence, they stop barking. You walk up to them, they back up. But when they back up, barking with their tail between their legs. Ain't now one of them gonna come running through that fence and gonna do nothing. They're gonna bark. Then when you close the gate, they're gonna bark again and be trying to tear the gate down. Bunch of intellectual morons.
Essie, you look so small next to Fred. You look like an itty bitty little thing. You over there behind his back. We can barely see you, girl. Are you there? Are you there? And then, like I was just saying, look, just seeing y'all two together, regardless of the divorce in 2019, you can tell that y'all two definitely have. I mean, well, look, I talk to you every day on the phone, 2, 3, 9, 10 times a day, and I hear Fred in the background. Fred is always there. Fred always got your back. Now, this is my first time seeing y'all on camera together. Y'all look cute together. Oh, y'all look so cute together. Go ahead, Fred. What you gotta say?
Hey, she be beating me up though, y'all. You know, hey, let me tell y'all something. The first time we got together, right? First time she got mad, she stumped her foot and folded her arms and stumped her foot. I just looked and just started laughing. Then she got on the bed and just started jumping and stomping up on the bed. I'm like, well, damn. I said, hey, you better stop before you fall off and hurt yourself, and turned and walked away. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, damn. Then she get mad because, look, I'm tall. You know, I'm like 6'5". So I don't think, I just like when I put stuff away, I just put it to where I just put it away. You know what I'm saying? And then she get mad coming in. She got a tongue hanging out her mouth on a chair or a bucket or whatever. She trying to reach something. And then she gets mad and frustrated because she can't reach it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, dang, I can't help that you're a couple of inches taller than a midget. You know what I'm saying? So I just find that, you know, it's just funny. You know, since I've been with her for a while, I try to be mindful of her shortness and try to accommodate her in her shortness. You know what I'm saying? I'll leave something down for her. And if I know that she's going to be using it, I'll leave it down. If I want to put it, I'll put it up. Just like, for instance, one day I went to the store.
I knew you were going to tell this.
I bought some candy.
I got my version. Hold up. When you tell this version, I got my version. I knew he was going to tell this shit. Okay, go ahead.
I went to the store, bought some candy. I said, hey, is there anything else you need out the store? She got hers, I got mine. Okay, so I got mine. I took mine to the house. I ate mine. The rest of it I put away. You know, she had hers. She ate. I don't know what. Like I say, I went in my room doing my thing, and she was eating hers. Whatever she did with hers ended up gone. So I'm in my room chilling. A couple of days later, and I was like, well, let me go get my candy bar. And I had it in my stash spot, you know, that only I can reach, and I have to kind of like stretch to get to it. I come out to get it, and I looked up there, and it was gone. I even got a ladder to look up there myself. I was like, I know I put it over here. You know, it was gone. And I asked her about it, and then she gonna tell me she ate it. So I'm like, well, why you eat mine when I asked you, do you want?
He went off. He went off.
Yeah,
he went off. If y'all ever seen that Snicker commercial on TV, homeboy went off about that Snicker. Look, I was.
It was like that was really frustrating. And you asked, did she ever get on my nerve? Hell yeah, she got on my nerve that day. Okay. She really did, y'all.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, night, where to go? Okay, so y'all, it was at nighttime. You don't really want me to drive, right? So now I ate my chocolate. I ain't got no chocolate, but I can't drive. What the hell I was supposed to do, right? He hid it. He didn't tell you where he hid it. It was no damn stash spot. He tall, y'all, so he gonna put everything he don't want me to see on tall shelves. His bedroom a little dark, so I said, lift by the kitchen. It was up in the kitchen on the back shelf. I had to get up on the ladder, then the cabinet to get that Snicker. He didn't look for that Snicker. It would seem like as soon as that dude knew I ate that Snicker, he's like, do, 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 do. And then he went to go get it. That Snicker sat about 4 days before he even thought about it. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing about this is Fred's face. The whole time Fred talking, he's serious. Got that serious look while Essie talking. He's straight faced it about a Snickers. Fred is serious about this damn Snickers. Go ahead, Fred.
I'm still hot about that Snickers. And that happened years ago. Even to this day, I buy something and I have to stash it in a totally different spot. I done found stuff I just stashed and I forgot where I stashed it.
You know why? Because now you want to try to stash it low because he don't think I was looking low for it because I'm 4'9". He stopped putting on tower shit because I got a ladder for every height in the house. So stop it. And then the food thing, how you looking about that food? He be serious about eating. I don't care what you talking about. He's serious about his meal. And if he ain't ate, watch out now. And I have to say, he is not the same man that I knew 12 years ago. And our relationship has grown. And nobody can even say that you can't be married to a dude and still have fun with him. Because we clown all the time, every day, all day. Because it's just funny. I look in the mirror at myself and be smiling. This how he look. This how he look.
But I
am. What?
But I am smiling. Oh. I'm just smiling on the inside.
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
Oh, that's what that was. Oh, that was the smile. Oh, I didn't even know that's Fred is silly. Y'all two are hilarious. I mean, like, this was fun. Somebody said, Fred, have you ever been a wrestler? Someone wants to know. And did you say 6'5"? And Essie about 4'3"? Oh my God.
He's sitting down. He's sitting down and I'm standing up. So when he stand up, I come to his waist. Sometimes I don't even want to sit by him or stand by because they think I'm his kid instead of somebody else. I be like, okay, I'll be on this side, you know?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Essie, did you say you're standing up and Fred is sitting down? Girl, bye. I'm done with you.
Yeah. Now, a wrestler, let me tell you something. Okay, one time when I had first met him, he did something and I was pissed. I don't think he wanted me to drive the car or something. And I said, okay. And I threw some keys at him and he was bent down like this. Y'all, he rose up like the exorcist. He's like, he turned around. I said, oh, shit. I ran. I jumped on the bed and it was a long way down the hallway. By the time I got to the bed, I was up on the bed like this. Nigga, if you go get me, I want to see you knock me out. I was scared as hell. I never did that again in my life.
I did some wrestling when I was back in high school. I played football. When we was younger, we used to go to the park. When I was in Compton younger, you know, me and my cousins, we used to, and us little dudes used to run to the park up there. They had like a little boxing clinic. We used to do that. My dad used to teach martial arts in the military. You know, he was a karate and judo instructor, and he used to have me in the backyard practicing with him. But all this was years ago. You know, I still do a little something here and there, a little shadow busting, just to stay in shape. You know, some type of shape anyway. You know, I am getting older. You know, if I stay in some type of shape, you know, I can keep somebody off me. I can knock you out, believe me. You know, straight up.
Right, because someone definitely just said that when I first saw Fred, I said, Essie don't have to worry about nothing, period. You know what I mean? I know that's how I feel too. Someone said, I can see him working for WWE. I know, right? That's why I'm still tripping over the fact that Essie's standing up and Fred's sitting down over there. I'm like, what's really going on? But y'all, I mean, but the dynamic of you two is just beautiful and stuff together. And, you know, I just thought this would be really cool for everybody to see how you two talk and stuff. And really, people, this is all the time. Like when Fred talking about Essie being a sweetheart, I already told you that. But Fred know, because he done known this lady for a long time. The cooking and stuff, she know, because she be over there cooking stuff. Yeah, I'm over here making some cooking this and that. That's why I'm like, damn, I can't wait till I get out there to Nevada. I want some food too. I'm coming to California. Fred's gonna be me and you sitting there with our plates of food eating. Me and you, Fred, us too. Because Fred think he just the only one gonna be eating. I'm eating too.
Someone asked, is his name Fred too? I was watching some of the interview, y'all, but I was out. When he had met me in that parking lot, I was on the phone macking. But then when I see him, I was like, oh shit, Big Daddy. I said, Jesus, don't give me no man that I feel like I want to dot in the eye, because he may have a short man complex. I wasn't with nobody. And I was just talking, and he turned around, and I described it. I turned around, he was there. I was like, well, thank you, Jesus. You just went down the check line. Not knowing that instant that I would be with him 12 years later in the relationship. So I heard Geneva ask this, so I'm going to put him on the spot. She asked, have we had sex in the last 8 years? I'm listening.
Like I said earlier, that's nobody's business. What we had as far as sexual relations, that's nobody's business.
Well, have you had relations in the last 8 years?
Like I said, that's nobody's business. I plead the fifth on that.
Oh my God! Okay. And I say that I haven't. He pleads the fifth, and it's what it is. No problem. See how easy that was, ladies? I ain't come for it, dude. It's all right. Because at the end of the day, if you're friends and you love somebody from their heart, you can't look at them and you had a part of them. I owe this man loyalty, if nothing else, because how he protected me. I gave him his freedom because, like, I wasn't going to go on the road with him. I think he said something about that. I didn't know, dude. I was like, okay, I'm your assignment. Okay, I did describe you, dude. I wanted you like that. I like big men. But I still wasn't gonna go with him because I hadn't been in a relationship. Then we was married, okay? But somewhere along the line that changed. And if he leaves or he goes somewhere, I'm not worried about where he goes because I know at the end of the day, I know where he'll be. And if he ain't, he'll let me know all that. I don't get to go nowhere. I'm gonna be honest with you. I pretty much stay where I am. But to protect the part, loyalty part, I never had any of my husbands that I've been 4 times. And me and Rerun was cool. Me and Fred was cool. I'm his widow. God made it for us to be cool. But I ain't never had that type of relationship, friendship that we could clown and stuff like that before. Like no man I've been with.
Okay, wait a minute. I definitely got a question that I just thought about right now, but I'm not gonna keep Fred on too long because people, y'all know how me and Essie could be on here for 2.5, damn near 3 hours with this interview, but I don't even want to do Fred like that. But Fred, what I do want to ask you now, since y'all talking about this stuff, is if Essie started dating someone else now that y'all not together, you're divorced, but you're still friends, still her bodyguard, how would you feel about that?
Hey, she deserves that. She's never really, from what I understand, she never really been on a date, you know, so that's all good. That's all fine and dandy, you know, as long as the dude's treating her okay. Because if he get out of line, I mean, hey, I ain't gotta say nothing else. You know, I'm not finna let that happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's not what's she doing? Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna turn into this guy, the executioner.
Get out of line. That's his alter ego. Let me show you his
So,
alter egos. Yeah. Get out of line. He turned into an 8.
no,
Say my name wrong. Y'all back there talking like y'all finna come for me. Yeah. Okay. Come on. No, this is
yeah, I mean, you know, like she's always happy, but I know deep down inside, you know, she be feeling some kind of way about certain things. That's why she's always happy. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see her, she happy skipping around the house singing and all that, you know, I'll be like, damn, okay, well, go on, sing over there, please. You know, but no, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy being around her. I truly believe Essie is my assignment. Everybody here on this planet Earth, if you have any type of relationship with God, you have assignments to do. Essie's my assignment. She's one of my assignments. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be there, period. I'm being there.
Essie, my question, Essie, right quick, my question for you is if Fred found him a young, fine, little fine thing, about 40-some years old, just body just tight and right and tight, and they start dating, how would you feel about that?
If they can match the comparison to the woman that I am, then I'm good with it. But you better be the comparison to the woman that I am, because I'm all of that and damn son. Because even if we ain't in a relationship, he's still my bodyguard. He's still here. I would never step in the way of his happiness, but I would want to know who she is. Are you going to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning when we's married? Whatever. And I'll cook for him now if he say 2 o'clock in the morning. It's just what it is. I mean, why can't I cook for him? I got to keep him healthy. Would you run his bath water? Would you make sure that he's okay? If he calls you to do something for him, would you help him? It was 2 times where Fred got really, really sick and I was here. Would you nurse him back to health? And it was 2 weeks of that. If she's all that, have at it, boo boo. Let's see. Go at it.
And you know what, too, G? I mean, I ain't really even looking for nobody because there's nobody that can really fill their shoes. Not that I would try to compare anybody to her because there's nobody that could be compared to her. But I'm not finna I don't like I said earlier, I don't chase after women. I've never really been into that. Do I like women? Love them to death. I think very highly of women, you know what I'm saying? But I've never been the type of guy that chase them. I don't get all goopy-eyed and all that. You know, if one just happened to come my way and I feel like dealing with them, I'll deal with them. If they feel like dealing with me, they don't, I'm gone. You know, I don't keep pressing the issue. I've never been like that because I never had to be like that, you know. But like I said, I'm not looking for anybody, you know, it's because I'm not married to Essie, you know. I'm always be there for Essie, period. You know, she finds somebody else, I'm there. She called me, I'm there. Dude, get out of line. We're going to have a talk like a man, like something the homeboy should do while he calling her on the phone, calling out her name. Like this little punk hiding behind the door, calling her out her name. Step to a man. Come talk to the man. about his woman, since you want to hide behind the door. And then you got low self-esteem women on your page who ain't got no man, wishing they had a man, trying to come against this woman because she's the way that she is, because she's outspoken, because she's going to speak her mind, because she's telling the truth. She's telling the truth in everything that she does, because if she wasn't telling the truth in everything that she said, these clowns would be coming at her the way that they are, you know, and they're making themselves look very stupid. Intellectual morons. That's what you guys are. You guys are IMs, intellectual morons, period.
Periods. Okay, now I'm just looking at Miss Berry in the background. Now we're gonna get off of here soon, but I'm looking at Miss Berry in the background, and I see that she's feeling some sort of type of way. I feel like there's probably something that she needs to say. Miss Berry, what do you got to say?
Damn, like this is my best friend, but like what he just said, like nobody can match my shoes. I was like, that's like deep, you know. I think that's why I kept him. I stayed with him, made sure, like, and if he get in a relationship, we just talked about that. But just know, like, those things y'all hear right now, I ain't never heard that before. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a communicator. Look, see how I was playing around him, and look how he kept looking like that. You know what I'm saying? So when he just said that, I'm like, damn, my heart, like, girl, tears start coming up for the crowd as well. I'm like, yeah, my body. Damn.
I mean, it is what it is, you know, it's real. I ain't got no time to sit up here and lie, you know, ain't nobody promised tomorrow. Whatever you speak, you're going to be judged for your words. You're going to be rewarded for your words. If you can't speak nothing that's going to uplift anybody, you shouldn't be speaking them at all. But we also need to bust out ignorance. That needs to be brought to light. Ignorance, you know, and there's a lot of ignorance over there. And I just can't get off of that enough, you know. And it's don't piss me off. It's just really irritating. And it's just astounding to me how somebody can be that hateful to somebody that they never met, you know, just because she has a heart to look out for somebody. That really, it's like, I'm like, wow, you know. And then you just gonna keep hiding. It's like a little punk.
Instead of fixing it and making it right.
You should have came and hollered at me like a man, dude.
Man, this shit would have been over long, bro. This shit would have been, it would have been over long time ago.
We could have discussed it, you know, as gentlemen, or if you want to go some other way with it, you could have went some other way with it, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody scared of anybody, straight up.
And that is not a threat, so let me make that clear, because I will always have his back whatever.
No, I don't make threats. That's something that I don't do. I don't say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. No, I don't make threats. Because if I want to do something to you, I'd already done it. Straight up. Believe me. No joke.
Okay, y'all.
You know.
Yeah, Fred is looking into the soul of the camera. The soul of the internet should be shaking and scared right now, because Fred ain't playing no games. So Tough Titty and Spooky Booty, you know he talking to you, Tough Titty and Spooky Booty, and the rest of y'all. And let me just say this, because I see some people asking about y'all remarrying. Now, Essie already know how I feel about the marriage thing. Look, a paper don't mean nothing. The fact that y'all have got, I mean, like, this speaks volumes right here. The fact that they done got divorced in 2019. So this is this whole paper thing. Remember the paper? You signed the paper, I'm married. You signed the paper, I'm divorced. 2019, they got a divorce. Technically, they shouldn't even be together, right? Technically, they should be arguing after a divorce. Technically, they should hate each other and be beefing. Technically, right now, Fred should be saying some awful, hateful things about Miss Berry, just for the simple fact that since 2019, they signed that paper. They said that they're not together anymore. But the heart speaks volumes. The heart and what you really want overrules a paper anytime. So for me, y'all ain't even got to get remarried, go in there and sign another paper. Y'all, you know, I don't know if y'all still, I don't know what the hell going on. Y'all talking about that you're okay if each other go and date other people, but Essie is saying, but is he going to be the type of woman that I'm gonna be? And Fred like, well, I ain't looking for nobody else, because he know ain't nobody else gonna compare. So what does that really mean? I don't know, people. But the people are asking, do you think that sometime in the future, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, that y'all might remarry? Just asking.
I'll let him go first.
You know, if that is in God's divine order, that will happen. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be here, you know, until I get assigned somewhere else. You know, like I told you earlier, I'm really trying to get in touch with my spiritual part of me, you know, spiritual to my spirit, because we all are spirits encased in flesh bodies, whether y'all want to believe it or not. And we do all have assignments, and there's a higher calling that we have to answer to. You know what I'm saying? And so we need to stay focused, keep focused on that at all times, you know. But if God orders it, it will be done. You know, I'm gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go outside this will and do that stupid. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. That's my family. Before I go, that's my family right there. You know what I'm saying? Period. She ain't going nowhere, y'all. She ain't going nowhere, y'all.
He ain't going nowhere, but he plead the fifth. Okay, listen. Now, when I said that was deep what he said. You got to realize, y'all see his face. He stays like this all the time. So it shocked me for him to say that. I was married to him. But keep it real, y'all. When he first met me, you got to realize, I mean, I heard him. I didn't like, he saw me innocent. I am innocent. I don't do that unless somebody come for me. And he just told all my little secrets about me cooking and being nice, and Geneva too. But it's like, now it doesn't matter, because like he's still my bodyguard and we still friends. So why wouldn't I make sure he okay? If he said I'm not feeling good, he had the corona. I didn't catch it. He was down for 2 weeks, y'all. Look how big this dude is. What the heck? How am I going to pick him up by myself? Didn't get out the bed, brought his food to him, and I was scared. And the homie gonna say, if I die, just remember I love you. And I was like, boy, you black. You ain't finna die on my watch. I'm Southern. You got me as quick as they be arresting black folks, and your family don't like me either. They dang sure gonna say, I did something to you, girl. 30 days it took me to get boy going back together, but I did it. See what I'm saying? About 2 or 3 times like that. I try to be family if I'm family. Now I realize family don't come in bloodline. It comes for who you are. Because I really feel like you my sister, Geneva. Because Fred be want to call to tell you, hey, you finna go on the internet and say something? You finna make a video? Let me call Geneva. I'll be like, what? But I respect that.
I do that too, for real.
See?
Yeah,
See?
I do.
See?
I do.
See?
She be like,
See?
somebody say something, or she'll be trying to befriend one of these other people that be on there doing what y'all do. And, you know, she's like, I just got finished talking to so-and-so. So I said, oh, you did? I said, well, what you know about them? Oh, well, they be on this. I said, that's what they say, right? I said, have you really, you know, sat down and really looked into them and, you know, checked them out or whatever? She was like, well, no, I just feel. I said, well, okay, you just feel. I said, because I'm going to tell Geneva.
Snitch.
Yeah. So now I'm a snitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell Geneva, you know, and, you know,
They be teaming up. He be teaming up.
But hey,
he got Geneva phone number in every phone in his house.
You know,
he got a phone number.
You know, G, that everyone's that's one of the ones that she reached out, that she called herself communicating, reached out to. What happened? They went sideways. You know,
they got paid off by the trolls. They got paid off by the stalkers. They got paid off with food. They got paid off with whatever. And I'm gonna be honest with you, to be what I done went through in the last 4 years, a person won't look like this. I'm just telling you. I had him, I had Geneva, I had our subscribers, which much love to you guys. God is like the first in my life. He has always been. You don't see me take off on the internet, but I still know God at the end of the day. I pop off right now and then go ask Jesus for forgiveness, you know. But I still thank God for who I am as an individual. And with him, when he said that assignment and by us being spiritual, I had to look at when I was asking God, please give me somebody I trust, because I don't trust men. I don't trust anybody easy like that. I just don't. I'm comfortable with him. So that's good. If I want to go somewhere, he'll drop me off with my girlfriend, come get me, whatever. And he do whatever. But I still feel like it's a reason. Because look how he's named Fred and Fred Berry was named Fred. That I said, God, give me a sign. When he said Fred, I was like, well, all right then, sign there. And he didn't have to marry me. I feel like when Fred, he loved me. and he say in love. I don't know if he really know what in love with is not. He don't want me to make y'all explain that on this mic, but I'm saying that we will always love each other because of the simple fact how we met. And because of that, God bring people in people's life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. We're a lifetime. I'm cool with this because I ain't never had one of my husbands I'm cool with. I don't even know how to act. Been through everything together. But if he were to find someone that would make him feel the way he needs to feel as a man, because he is a king, ladies. He's a gem. He's a prize. He's a diamond. You dig? But at the same time, I had my issues. He had issues. We both did our thing, and I didn't want to come between his family. And yeah, this is my family, but I didn't want his family to not be with him or hate him or dislike him and not let him see his grandkids or the aunties don't like me or the sisters don't like me because I'm helping your brother, because I'm making sure he okay like he makes sure I'm okay. I mean, I don't understand that. So if it was someone else that could fit those shoes and he could still have his family, but I don't know how we can even look at any of our family the same, because the things they did to get paid off to stalk me for this man, it makes no sense.
Hey, the family members, they didn't tow their drawers. You remember that saying, y'all grandparents used to say back in the day? Y'all don't tow your drawers. I'm gone. I mean, you consider me gone anyway, so I'm gone. You know, the babies, I love you guys, nieces and nephews, I love y'all. But y'all know, you know who I'm talking to. I'm gone.
He's saying that because y'all don't know his sister and she has his niece, and they came down on the page. They was all on the pages where they were being paid to be stalked to come at me. So let's say Fred said come to him man to man, Steve. You couldn't come to dude man to man because he really saying what you are not. Fred sat there, and the only reason why I won't release a lot of those calls while he was talking like that is because I was clowning him and cussing him, and I should not have been doing that because Fred did say don't even answer the phone. Steve know what he did. That's why he's not going to run me up in the court. But just to know these things have transpired, I've always had family behind me, but I knew who I was as an individual, and at that time, Fred told me shut up a lot of times. I mean, he did. I respected it, but he understood it. But if this man could have said, look, this Essie, she ain't Mary, Margie, or Marsha, her name Essie with an E, then you should have fixed that a long time ago, because what man going to be on the show like this and got his face calling me out my name, on sites calling me out my name? There's a lot of bloggers on this internet, and no bloggers are doing that kind of stuff on the internet and target me, you, and my family members or people, even my subscribers, Geneva. So we saying that because it's bad when you have bloodline and he just read that card to you, and then you know you can get somebody a Twinkie and $2, and then you can go get paid off to get on a content and lie to try to make someone look bad, and you're only making yourself look bad.
No, you know, probably on there because she don't have nothing else to do. She don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? She's looking for acceptance from somebody. And they accepted her. Of course they're going to accept her, because they figure if they get to her and get to me, they'll be getting to you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call them like intellectual morons. They don't know what to do. They're baffled. They're bewildered. You know, they losing their minds, you know, because they couldn't get to Essie. And all y'all had to do was come holler at me. Come to me as a man. You could have went to somebody and asked him how to be a man.
Yeah, they could have went to.
How can I be a man so I can go talk to this man? And so he can ask his wife to get some type of resolution.
And tell her what?
You know what I'm saying?
And tell her what? And I'm a cusphobic,
you know what I'm
accused
saying?
of a conspiracy and extortionist. And let me ask you this: did you ever know me doing something like that? Was there ever something transpired that I was even? I mean, I went into shock when I was called that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Dude didn't care about nobody's life but his own. And now here we are 8 years later. And this right here, you guys, all that we're talking about now, you guys got to go back and listen to the other videos from Geneva and see where this has transpired. Because 2013, we and him really, like, we were still bodyguard, but we weren't there. And when this man came to go after me, Steve Harvey, me and Fred was going to separate in 2013. But he came at me and started trying to stalk me and threaten me, all this other stuff. we stayed together and we still grow to better bond. And can I say everybody will be in a relationship like this? No. Do I like that his family is seen or pay other people and his family members to come at me? No. But they thought because they were negative, they thought because they were ugly, they thought because they were fed Twinkies and he bought out that I would just dog him. They call Fred and say, hey, can you stop Essie from talking a video? Or can you stop them? They put a video up about me. How can Fred stop somebody from putting the video up about his sisters? So when they put the videos up about Fred's sisters, then they turned around and called Fred. They had dog faces on them and everything. It was very high tech. Geneva know. So because Fred couldn't make me take some videos down and they knew I was connected to Fred, they went after Fred's sister. The sister that they went after is now on that stalker page talking trifling and stupid and for no reason. And this is his bloodline because she doesn't like me. But it doesn't matter. You want to be me. And you got to really look at it. I had just came in, so I got to go back and hear the interview. The things that Fred said about me, I just told him to be honest. And he has been. But this has been a lot on him. And I really want to thank him for just being the dude that he is. Because you don't find dudes like this every day. Straight up. Right?
Well, I never look for a dude, so I wouldn't. I don't be trying to find dudes. I mean, okay. You might want to ask one of them dudes over there on one of them other pages. You might want if they try to find dudes. But we're gonna leave that at that. We're gonna leave that there, and just gonna stay right there. You know, our homeboy over behind the door. So
okay. Yes, sir.
Absolute mundo. And right, so I do want to tell everybody this because I was telling Essie this earlier that I understood that this interview that I was doing with Fred for Essie and for Fred, and yes, his name is Fred. His name is Fred, and that is her ex-husband / bodyguard. They got a divorce in 2019. I understood that for them, this interview was more personal. You know, that I understood that when they are talking, I know exactly who they're talking to because they feel a certain type of way because this is like people, family members coming out of the woodworks. But like I was telling Essie, but now I have to make sure that the people understand it. So for y'all, I just wanted you all to see how this whole trolling thing, this internet trolling thing can just really go bad when family members and stuff start getting involved. Because we hear a lot of the times about just people trolling you and stalking you and stuff over the internet who don't know you, who just don't like you just because. But when actual family members come involved, and then it was just so unique and different for me because I would just expect that if it was family members getting involved, they would probably be younger. You know what I mean? But to know that these are mature women and mature, or a lot of these women people, because Fred did mention his niece, and I'm pretty sure his niece is younger. But the other, y'all like mature people, and this is what y'all doing. Like you couldn't talk it over with your brother, stepbrother. Essie's sister couldn't have a conversation with her off camera, a text message, call, email, be upset or argue with them off. You have to literally bring it on camera. So I just wanted you all to see that. But I understand for them, it's personal, and they are directly talking to specific people about how they feel. Anything y'all want to say? And then I do want to also say this, that we're about to get off of here soon. So I want to give Fred and Essie any final words before I let them go. And then I'm going to say a few things to you all. And then I'm going to go. So Fred, Essie, y'all got something you want to say?
Well, I just want to thank you for taking the time to invite me into your closet, and I've never done this before. This is pretty, I'm pretty cool, But I had to say that. I had to get a lot of that stuff off my chest. Do I still got stuff on my chest? Yes, I do still got stuff on my chest. You know what I'm saying? Because I still can't wrap my head around how a person that calls himself a real man saying do the things that he said and done, and then allow intellectual morons to use his likeness, his brand, so to speak, as they say it, and to come after a woman that you don't even know, simply because this woman tried to look out for another woman who was being used and abused by her husband, who happens to be somebody renowned. You know what I'm saying? And it's just sad. It's just bewildering. I don't, maybe a real man ain't never really stepped to you like that, you know. So like I said, my number is very obtainable. You know my location because I just seen it on your videos. I don't run. I don't hide. Too big to hide. You know what I'm saying? So what's happening? You know, you need to holler at me. Holler at me. You got my number. You probably got all 3 of my numbers.
So
you
basically, he's saying it's a wrap. We done with Steve Harvey.
Yeah,
All the extra.
yeah.
If you come and do what you gonna do, we got to unleash. We gonna unleash. But other than that, we are going on with our lives, having a fun time if we can, living our best lives. Me and him, Geneva and Chad, and whoever else come in our pathway at that time, knowing that God is awesome. And I have to say, I've grown because of this. So just let you know, y'all could have came to him as a man a long time ago. This shouldn't have happened. And real men don't like when you try to come at real women. And I am real. Am a real friend?
Well, I know.
Okay, that's what they
you
said.
You was real 8 years ago, so I don't.
Okay, so okay, but I'm
Are you still real? I
What's
don't
real?
know.
How you doing?
Hey,
Wait,
you said it's been 8 years. You was real. Hey, she was real 8 years ago. I don't know.
I was like a real woman, not like real like this. Yeah, okay. Bye, girl.
No, she a
Love
real.
you guys.
She a real woman. She a real
This
woman.
what I go through. This what I go through.
Everybody in the chat, it was nice meeting y'all. You know, appreciate your comments, whether they was good, bad, or whatever, because I really can't see them like that. But I just want to just say that to you guys. You know, and Mr. Neva, I applaud you. I have utmost respect and love for you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for taking care of this one right here. So she's like, so now I have to split my assignment with you. You know what I'm saying? She's still going to be my assignment, but I have to split it with you now. You know what I'm saying? So I thank you guys. You know. So hey, y'all. Hey, I got to go. I'm finna go find me something.
Hungry.
I'll see y'all later.
Bye, Fred.
Okay, Geneva. I'm sorry about that. He was basically saying, like, I split my time. I'm glad she ain't worrying my damn nerves no more. I got Geneva over there. Hallelujah. I asked him if he wanted a banana. He's like, no, I'm going over here to eat. Okay, I'm done. Love you guys. I enjoyed this interview. We look to see more of you. Thank you, Geneva, again. And Fred did good for his first time. He was really, really nervous. He was only at 2 hours before it was time to go on. Love you guys. God bless you. Sorry we didn't get the questions. We'll answer them later.
Bye, Essie. Talk to you later, girl. Picking her out. And she's gone. That was a fabulous interview. I want to thank Fred Payne, the bodyguard / ex-husband of Essie Berry, for coming here in Geneva's Closet. I just want to let you know, Fred, that you did absolutely amazing. I know this was your first time on camera. I already know you was nervous, but I am very appreciative of you taking the time out to come in here and speak your truth and let us know about this whole Mary Harvey, Steve Harvey situation, how you met Essie, where the hell you from, this whole troll situation. And, you know, because we got a lot of insight from Fred, his perspective of everything. So we've heard Essie's, and y'all done heard a little bit of mine, but now you done heard what Fred had to say. So I really do appreciate that. And someone did ask me, because I'm trying to remember, somebody asked me that have nothing to do with this interview about the book that I read, Men Will Lie When the Truth Will Do. Where's that book at? Someone asked me about this book, Men Will Lie When the Truth Will Do, The King, His Queen, and His Other Woman, written by Terry Smith. And you asked me, is there any more of these books? Not that I know of. I already had a hard enough time finding this one. This was the, oh my God, I'm dropping it everywhere. This was the only book. This is the book. This is the only one that I found. And so, yeah, you would have to totally go look it up and see if you can find another one. I found that one on Amazon, and when I found it, it said the only book. And as a matter of fact, it also said it was a used book, even though it came looking brand new, but it said used. It wasn't even a brand new book. So, yeah.
I'm very honored to be here with the queen herself. You, as far as you with us, and Miss Franchesska. So let me put this out there before we get any further. Y'all see this chain on my neck? What do it say? Queen. I got to take this off. The queen is getting ready to come on. I got to surrender I got to surrender it, y'all. The number one queen is getting ready to come on this mic. And I'm enough woman to say she is all queen. So I got to surrender it. I'm about to send it to her, y'all. That's the queen right there. This has been an interview, and I'm not even gonna say interview, something that is long overdue. So many questions that I wanted to ask and I couldn't ask. And now this is an honor because Franchesska has never done anything like this before in her life. And I feel so honored. So I had to take the chain off, y'all, because the queen getting ready to come on. Bring her on, Geneva. I can't even say, bring the queen on. Bring the, hey, let's go.
Just want to throw that out there before we bring her on. We're talking about the very first wife of Fred Rerun Berry, and I also heard that she's a dancer and choreographer. We're going to find out more about that. And I'm talking about the lovely and the beautiful Miss Franchesska Berry. How you doing, Miss Franchesska Berry?
Blessings, beauties, blessings, goddesses on board. I love you. I love you so much. Sis, you know that, Essie. You are my heart. You know you are the reason I am here. Miss Geneva, thank you, Goddess, for your support, your love. Essie, I love you so much. I would not be here doing this if it was not for our heartfelt connection and the love and the spirit that we have between us. So I'm so grateful and honored to be here with you. So please know that. And I'm hugging you now. I'm hugging you now, babe. So I'm here for you. And everything that you want to share, let's do it. And blessings to all of the fam that come through, ride with my sister and with Geneva as well. We need your support because we are all we have with both hands. So welcome. And it's so nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you.
Say something. Oh, that was beautiful. Esther, you going to say something? Go ahead, girl.
Girl, I had to grab my face. I said, girl, now she ain't finna do this because we almost cried last night, y'all, because we saw each other for the first time last night, and it was overwhelming. This beautiful person in front of me, we've had a connection for so many years, but we never physically saw face to face until last night and right now, and that's an honor. And there's so many things that I learned about Franchesska, but it was not my story to tell. This is her story. And before we start this, and Geneva asked her any questions, I have to say, you guys, over the years, it's been hard for me to know to be married to a celebrity and to know that sometimes along the ways, the women that help create these men, the women that give this men status, the women that are left behind when they go about their business, you on the road doing whatever, this is this woman. And I had to be honest with myself and say that Franchesska was Franchesska was the reason that Fred Berry, to me, was the man that he was when he got to me, and I saw so many different things. But then when I met Franchesska, I knew why he fell in love with her. I knew why he loved her. I knew what she brought to the table to his everyday life. And I think somewhere along the line, whenever they did separate, he suffered for that tremendously, and at the end, it came back to me. So I feel like what God has done now is put this platform together so you can hear the true story, because everybody want to say things. But how do you know if you ain't lived this sister life? And let me put this out there before we get started. If Franchesska really wanted to say anything, she could have did it way before now. And there's so many things that I have not shared with people either. We felt like it was a time that we could come together now and be sisters and hold each other's hand. Because yes, we're going to spread so much love, laughter, and joy about her husband. There's hurt in there somewhere, you guys. There's other things that transpire, and not all is going to be good because life is not good. Life is the hand that we're dealt. But because I am who I am, I chose to come back and find this sister because I needed to know for myself. I had questions that I want to ask for myself. So now here we are with this beautiful queen. And again, Franchesska, I meant that. You are the queen. You are sitting up here royalty. Things choreographing for Fred, dancing and doing all that. We need to allow queens and sisters to know where we generated from and where we came from with your beautiful spirit and soul. So let's get this popping now. Look at my girl up there. Let's go. I'm shutting up. I'm gonna cry.
All right, beloved, don't make me cry. You know that. Matters of the heart. And, you know, I was already dancing. I had a full life before Fred Berry. Raised in Los Angeles, born in Houston, Texas, but moved to Los Angeles at the age of 2, 3. I celebrated my 3rd birthday in LA. So you speak to me, I'm going to tell you I'm from LA. But my roots are in Houston. My grandmother, my lineage is strong. My grandmommy will be 99 tomorrow. So happy birthday, grandmommy. My lineage, my roots are strong. I have a long time to go. So, you know, I live life to the fullest and am very proud of that. And I say that to say, life is short. And so I've danced the entire time. My life has been dancing. Before Soul Train, I modeled as a preteen model for Foxes and Hares. So I've worked from about the age of 8. And my mother, very strict, but I wouldn't be who I am without my mother. And I love my mom, but my mom was strict. And so the discipline that I have now, that I've continued on from that time, dancing, modeling, you name it, in school full time, just, it was a lot. I grew up in Hancock Park, Beverly Hills region, and my life was good. So it's interesting that the brother chose me. I did not choose him. As if I could say, he actually stalked me, if you will. And he just kept turning up everywhere I was. I was like, why is this dude, like, everywhere I go, he's there? You know, because I didn't like him. I thought he was all right. But, you know, I had a whole life. I just was into dance. Dance is my steady date. Still, dance has been here my entire life. Doing modern jazz, Afro-Haitian, Brazilian. Love, dance is my love. Dance has never left me, then and now, if I may say. I also honor being feminine. I've always enjoyed being woman and nurturing from the inside and polishing from the inside. It's so important. I see a lot of sisters that apply from the outside and think they're applying beauty from the outside. But actually, I feel that beauty comes and emanates from the inside out. So that's how I was raised. And I still believe that. So that could have been what drew Ping to me. My mom actually got me to Soul Train. But prior to that, it was a lot of the older students from LA High, okay, LA High in the house, that would come to my house. And they were already getting ready to come to Soul Train, to go to Soul Train, but they didn't know what to do down the Soul Train line, da, 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 da. And because I've danced all my life, they would come over and I would teach them the latest dances and what to do and how to swag down that line. And I just knew my time would come, you know. So when it did, it was because of Mr. Chuck Berry, rest his soul. The beloved, the great Mr. Chuck Berry escorted me to Soul Train. And what a blessing. And notice that here we go with that last name, Chuck Berry. So there's that last name, Berry. I said, okay. And I'm looking into these omens and like, okay, this is a message. And not knowing, being so young, going to Soul Train at about 14, 15, far too young to be on the show. And my mother said, just keep your mouth shut and do what you came to do. And that was dance. But I remember telling Mr. Berry, and not knowing his lineage and his greatness, thank you so much. And thank you for bringing me. And, you know, I want to be on the show and I want to be a regular. And I do this and I do that, not knowing who I was speaking to in his greatness. And he was like, okay, little lady, I know you could do it, and this and that, and this is your day. And I said, okay. And so I did my thing. And Pam Brown asked me, invited me back again. And it was just my dream. It was my lineage. It was my path. And after that, I was just on the show. And then I guess within maybe about 3 or 4 shows, Ping came over and he said something to me. And I just kind of looked at him like, boy, bye. I'm not interested. I had a full life. I was like, oh, no. And so I loved the Lockers because I loved what they stood for. I loved that they were creative. I loved that they did their own style. I just loved that they were creative in their own way, that they were making their path. And that was my vision, was to create my own as well. But I didn't pay Ping any attention. I always danced under the soul, and he danced under the train, because you had the 2 separate lines. Mine was soul. I was always under the soul. So our paths didn't really cross, but he always somehow seemed to get up in my peripheral all the time. But he kept appearing everywhere I was. So that got on my nerves. So I tried to ditch him as much as I could, to be perfectly honest, because my life was full. Modeling, Foxes and Hares, the stage, everything that I was doing, cheerleading, mascot, all of my friends. So it took some time. It took about a year for him to pursue me and stalk me at all the parties, this and that, and before I finally gave him a little bit of time. And he was very, very sweet, because he was very pure at that time. He was very humble. He was striving to fit in. We both were, but we had this unique style together, because I wore baggy clothes and, I was shy. I always had body, like I still do now. Hey, hell what? So come on now. So we just had this thing, and everybody kind of started just seeing us together. And so we just created a couple kind of vibe. But I kept on my path of being a dancer. And in the light of Judith Jamison, in the light of Catherine Dunham, Donald McHale, Alvin Ailey, dance has been my path. And it was important to me to leave legacy for those that would come up behind me. Being blessed to dance with Paula Kelly came to LA High and acknowledged my dance when I was probably a junior. And so I knew I had something special. I mean, that's all I did was dance. And so I said, okay. So I just stayed on my path. I wasn't really bothered with guys too much. So with Ping coming in, but him being a dancer, that helped him a great deal with me, because he was gifted, because he had weight on him, but he was so limber. He was exceptionally limber. He could stand there and then do a Chinese split and just jump in the air and do a Chinese split. Like, he didn't stretch, he didn't do anything. So he just was magic. And I was like, okay, I see you. So he got on the dance vibe and started saying some names of some artists, some dancers that he would like to emulate. And I said, well, let's create together. Let's evolve together. Let's create a new style. So when he decided to start speaking my language, that's kind of what caught me, is to not do the same thing that everyone was doing. So, that's kind of how it started, kind of, sort of. Yes, beauty. What's my baby sister want?
Queen.
Yes,
I just
yes,
want to
ma'am.
know. So I see so many different face expressions of love with your husband. Your husband. That's your husband, baby.
That's our husband. You tried it. You tried it.
Your husband.
Our husband.
So he stalked you.
He did.
Wait a minute. Okay, he stalked you. So what made you like give in? What was there was it the dance that was the attraction? Was he the attraction? Was his vibe the attraction? Was his conversation the attraction? What made you give in after a year?
I think because he was an outlier and I was an outlier, we didn't quite fit in, so to speak. We didn't fit in, if you will. We were just very unique individuals. And so I had someone that was unique in his style and dress, and I was unique in my style and dress. I made a lot of my clothes and, would alter the look and do the sequins. And, I cut all my hair off when I think I turned 16. I chopped my big fro off and was blonde and did things. And, so we just had a vibe together. And we just kind of, caught each other's vibe because we created together. That's
how old were you in this picture right here?
I was 17, 18.
How was Fred?
The picture that Miss Geneva just showed where we were sitting together, was that I think that was maybe my 16th birthday.
How was Fred? Cradle Robert?
He had no damn business talking to me. Point, period, blank. If I knew then what I knew now. But for me at that time, it was because he danced. You see, I didn't do numbers. It wasn't about age. It's just that he danced. And we were dancers, because I grew up with watching Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers. I loved all of those old movies. I loved all of that. It was just beautiful to me. And so I just was like, okay, we're going to be like the next Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. And I really believe that. I believe that. I saw that in us then. And especially, so that was on my birthday at my Uncle Kenny's house, who raised me. That was my 16th birthday. I remember taking that picture. He came over.
How old he was. How old was he?
He was too old to be messing with me. That's how old he was. Okay. In numbers. That's how old his ass was. He was too old to be talking to me. That's how old he was in numbers. But in the mind, I feel like I was more mature as far as, I felt like I was more mature than he was when it came to that. But Ping he was older. He should have been messing with somebody else, to be honest.
I love you so much. You're so good.
I love you too, sis. I love you.
I know.
Geneva, I do.
Go on. You got anything you want to say? Geneva might want to say something.
Miss Geneva.
I'm just back here. Look, Franchesska is sitting up here flowing with, girl, I ain't even asked you no questions. You just flowing perfectly. Perfectly. You dropping all type of stuff. You got me back here like, what? And you said, hey, look, Franchesska act like she don't want to say the age. So you know me, girl. I'm back here looking like, okay, now what year was he born? So he would be what age right now? So that means that Franchesska.
Like 20, what was he like 23? What was he like, maybe 23? Something like that. Was 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. Yeah, he was about 23. Yeah. He was 23, 24. He was. Yeah.
So when did you give in? Did you give in? Like, when did you really start really hanging with him so y'all could dance at Soul Train? Because you had already seen him at Soul Train. Is that right? And
yeah, I already had my own partners. I was already dancing with my own partners at that time. And, the lockers moved all around the floor at Soul Train. And, they danced with a few people. It was real cliquish. you know, because I was so young. And a lot of the dancers on Soul Train, they loved that red light. They wanted to get in the camera. They were like, see me, see me, see me, see me. But I was young at that time, so that wasn't my vibe to get into the camera. That wasn't, because I know the Most High saw me. I knew my time would come. And the light is on you because the Most High sees you. You in the light. When I say live in the light, or we're in the light right now, because this is the Most High's doing. You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessary for you to, yeah, see me, see me, see me. So I'm not moved by that kind of foolishness. So when I was blessed to be in the light, it was because of my dance, because my natural ability. When you're doing the dang thing, the light comes to you. You don't have to get up in the light in that way. So Ping would be, as I said, I was on the soul side and he was on the train side with his crew. But he would always, you know, get to me and we'd eat lunch, you know, together. And I was there for the artist. I think, which is what has catapulted the depth of my artistry now. I was there focusing on the artist. After you have danced and listened to James Brown say, Maceo hit me, Maceo hit me, after you heard that for 4 or 5 hours, and that's all he said. Now, I was in rapture, but you have to remember a lot of the other dancers were older. So they were into the older vibe. But see, I'm young, so I'm sitting in there soaking all of this in. And they would say, oh, James Brown again. And I would be like, are you serious right now? Sis, he said the same thing over and over. Maceo hit me, and he'd be like, no, that wasn't, no. But girl, when Maceo hit that note, chicken went everywhere. All of the dancers, it was just electrifying, and it just was crazy. So when you have the experience of having live music, funk, James Brown, Tower of Power, Gladys Knight and the Pips, when you have Shaka coming through, you see Richard Pryor just there. When you have the experience, Ohio Players, when you have the experience and living that from 15, 16, Al Green, for my 16th birthday, Al Green sang to me for my 16th birthday. The OJs came and said happy birthday to me because they couldn't believe I was just 16. And I was like, yes, sir, and very polite. And when you have these type of experiences, of course, the Jacksons, you know, having Michael Jackson and meeting him at American Bandstand at the music thing when I danced with a dear friend of mine. And I'm just in the audience, just standing there. And then Michael Jackson's like, oh, Franchesska Curtis. And I looked up, I was like, yeah. And he's like, you know, I love your dance. And when you have these personal experiences and you're acknowledged by the best, you know, I don't really vibe with Ping like that. I'm like, boy, Khadijah don't need you. My path was already foretold by my family, by my lineage. So you would have to really be coming correctly to get in my light. You'd really have to be coming correctly. So he did have to come and speak to my mother and my father. It was actually my daddy that had the crush on Ping. It was not me. My daddy loved Ping when he would dance on Soul Train before I even knew him. My father lived for when he came down the line. So it wasn't me that had the crush on him. It was my daddy, not me. So when I told my father about him, he was like, oh, yeah. So that kind of helped him. So then when my father met him, he kind of had an edge. And Ping was really sweet. So he kind of swept my mother and my father off their feet before he got me. I was the last.
Did you meet his parents? Did you meet Fred's parents?
I did. I did meet his mother, his brothers. I did meet his family. We did all that. He had to court me. He had to full out court me for quite some time. That's why the majority of the photographs that are inside of the Unsung Hollywood that you and I were blessed to do together are pictures from my family's home. You know, the sprawling yard outside, and that's from my house, where when Ping would come over and we'd take pictures outside, or we're hugged up outside. He was either coming or leaving because he was touring a lot then. The lockers were on fire. So he'd call me when he was out, or what do you think we should do? Or, he'd ask me for some tips, or, just what did I think, or my feelings. And yeah, so he had to really win over the family.
Franchesca, why do you call him Ping? Because I know the people are wondering, okay, now where does Ping come from? We never heard that.
Oh, I'm sorry, because he was always Mr. Penguin. He was always Ping to me. He's Penguin. So when we were at Mavericks Flats, when we were together, they would call us Mr. and Mrs. Penguin. That was like one of our first, the first expressions that people called us. So to me, he's Ping. He's Ping. Like, that's my husband. He's Ping. I don't.
Because he was shaped like a penguin. Is that why they gave him that? Because usually in the country, you give a person a name, it's for a reason. So why did they actually call him Penguin? That was
he used to imitate how he used to dance. He used to, do a move that was like that. And then when he started rocking the tam, but he would wear it in a different. And I said, no, you need to slant it to the side. He slanted his to one way. I had slanted mine the other way. So we just had a lot of commonalities. But I just know my husband as Ping. I didn't call him Fred. I can't stand that name. But I never called him. That's a dumb name. I never called him Fred. I was like, I'm not going to call you that. That don't do nothing for me. So it was Ping. That's who he was to me.
Well, okay, so you done did your year, you got to know him. How much longer after that picture right there did you marry him?
I would say probably, let me see, maybe within 2 years. Within 2 years, probably a year and a half. Yeah.
So when you met Fred, he was already touring with the Lockers and dealing with the Lockers. So he was dealing with the Lockers. So how did you get along with all that with them? And how did they come into your circle? Because you had to get to the stalker first. You got to get to him first. And then you had to meet his group. So how did that play in?
Thank you for asking me that. The Lockers were wonderful. They were so approachable. The Lockers, Don Campbell, magic. All of them were very polite to me because they were cognizant of my age. So they would always act very respectful. All very, very kind. Don would always tell Ping to be respectful of my age, that he shouldn't expect me to do a lot of things that other people did because I was not raised that way. He could tell that about me. They were professionals. They appreciated their positions. They were not arrogant. They worked hard. But they were brokenhearted. I think this was the closest I came to. That was the first time I saw dancers really being hurt and seeing what that was like. Because Don, that was the biggest mistake that Mr. Cornelius, as I called him then, and I still refer to him as Mr. Cornelius, that he made was not acknowledging the greatness of the Lockers. And they came born at Soul Train. And with his genius, his great genius, and all that he stood for and everything that he's done for us as a people, that was just a mistake, if you will, that he didn't see the greatness. that they brought. So that caused a problem on the show, and it broke their heart. But they continued on and traveled, and they started a legacy, a dance legacy that has continued and that will never die. And that's what I said to them. I said, that's just a platform. I said, that's your platform. So, use it to the fullest. So I gave them guidance that was beyond my years. And that's what they really appreciated, is that I gave them guidance, and they were like, okay, she's on to something. And I would always give them some design. And when they would do some things, I would tell Ping in privacy, baby, you guys need to do this, or just do some different things to kind of add some dimensions to what they did. But they worked hard. They would dance against each other. We danced at dance contests in Fullerton and different places, friendly dance contests, but it was against each other to make money, like to pay bills, to pay rent. And I had never seen anything like this. God bless the child, but I grew up wealthy. So when I was with Ping, he was like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to go hungry. And I was like, boy, you are crazy. We could just go to my mom's house. I could just go out in the back to our, we had a apartment in the back of our huge home. And we had a freezer. I said, I could go in the freezer. My mom will not miss a thing. I could grab some food, and then we could he was like, no, I'm going to teach you how to eat potatoes all day long. And we ate hash browns in the morning. And then and then he said, okay, we're going to have fries in the afternoon. And then we're going to have baked potatoes at night. I was like, no, I need to go to home. I need to go get a steak. And so, they did this, that, the lockers, they were like that. But I was like, boy, I don't know about this kind of life. So it was magical. I got something different from all the lockers. My favorite locker, if I may say, is Slim the Robot. Slim the Robot. Slim, that is my heart. Slim raised me. Like, Slim had the most sense, I have to say. Slim is a scientist.
Genius. He's a genius.
He is a genius. Slim is the Black Einstein. People, if you want to know a robotist, a scientist, Slim. He took care. He created the sets. He did a lot of the electrical things that needed to happen. He was the mastermind behind the lockers. And wow. They counted on Slim, and bless his heart, he is the last of the lockers to still live. So the stories that I have in my heart about the lockers that remain in my heart, the most wonderful gentleman. Absolutely. So thank you for asking. Yeah.
I have to say, you guys, too, I met Slim. Slim was the type person, he'll come and check on y'all. You'll just feed Slim, give him some food, baby. He'll solve a puzzle. He'll fix things for you. You know it. He's just a generous-hearted person. And I respected him a lot when I was with Fred, because even when Fred was gone, he would still come by and check on me.
Yes.
And look how Fran just spoke about him, and he do have that nurturing, caring. If you see him right now, he got all solid white hair. He was the robot. If y'all go back and see them dancing, any lockers, look at the robot. That's the last living locker.
He is.
You know what I'm saying?
Must be honored.
All are concerned. He's the last one.
Yes.
So I just had to know that in general. Geneva, is something else you want to ask before we go any further?
Which one? Because I tried to bring the picture up, because y'all know that I had planned on having pictures and videos, but I couldn't get any of my stuff to pop up before the interview. So which one on this picture is the one that you're talking about, Franchesska? You and Essie talking about? Let me try to make it bigger.
Where is Slim? Where is my sweetheart? Where is Slim?
Oh, this is old girl. Okay, so the lady on here, that is the lady Essie was always talking about. Oh, Ricky, you so fine. That's her, Essie. Because
Yeah,
don't you see the woman right there?
Yes, that is Tony Basil. That is Tony Basil.
but we don't
That
see.
is
I don't
Tony
see Slim
Basil.
on there. I don't see the robot on that picture
No,
particularly.
I don't see Slim, and I can't believe that he is not there. Now that I was here when I was there when this is for I remember this. I was there. I think is this not the Slit Small Liquor Bull?
Commercial.
Uh yes, that's yes. I remember telling them, say, you all need to use those stairs. They were using the flat and the stairs were just there. They were so excited to do this. They were so excited. Who is that at the bottom? Who is that? Is that not who is that at the bottom? I
I thought
can't
that
see.
was Don. I think it's Shabadoo. It's Fred. I don't know this cat right here on the right by Don was got his
Uh-huh.
arm out. That ain't Skeeter, is it? That ain't Skeeter Rabbit.
Uh-uh. Man, I don't see Slim.
Wait a minute, go
Slim
back.
is one of a kind. And he has so much to do with
Is
the
that Slim in the very back? Look at the very back,
that
Franchesska.
is Slim up at the
Slim
top.
in the very
There
back.
he is. That's Slim at the top,
Yeah,
profiling, styling.
yeah. I saw that little, yeah, that's Slim right there in the
There he
very
is. I
back.
was like,
That's
how
the
can
player,
Slim not
y'all.
be there? There he is. That's him at the top, holding it down.
And y'all, right now he got a big hair of gray hair. The last time I seen him, very handsome gentleman. Like she
Black
said,
Einstein. The
y'all
Black
better
Einstein. Don't he look like Einstein, sis? Don't he look like a Black
yes,
Einstein? Like a
yes. Check
mad
this.
professor.
If they had went and got Slim, they probably already had a cure for the coronavirus. That's
You
smart.
already know. You already know. Absolutely.
Y'all better go find him.
We will. We're going to get him.
Mm-hmm.
Call
So,
me, Slim.
Francesca, where did you
My
and Fred
love.
get married at?
You know what? We had a gig in Vegas. We did a show in Vegas. And we were supposed to go somewhere. And so we got married. We got married in Vegas. And then we flew to the Bay Area for our honeymoon. Uh-huh.
So was any of your family members, anybody there? Was just you and Ping, you and Fred?
We did the show and I was like, babe, we're just doing the show. He was like, no, we're here. We should do it. So it was he and I and some fans that stood in. And I was like, this is not very personal. This is not gonna last. This is very, I don't like this. But he said, we'll do it again. And I was like, but this is my first time to get married. I kind of wanted the bells and the whistles. And he was like, baby, we're right here. Let's just do it. And I was like, okay, whatever, let's just do it then. So we did that. He said, we'll do it again and we'll do a big one. We didn't have a lot of money at that time, but he promised me when we got a lot of money that we would do a big wedding later. And I said, okay, yeah.
So after you guys got married in Vegas, were y'all still dancing with Soul Train? How did that work that y'all departed from Soul Train up in there?
We did. We came back and we still danced on the show, but people didn't know we were married at the time. But we were married. We didn't change too much of the dynamics because, I was very private. I'm still a very private person, which, a private public figure, if you will, because in LA, there's so much talk, there's so much chatter, there's so much. And so I like there's Slim. Where did he look? There he is. There he is with that. There he is, the mad scientist. So it was important to me for us to hold on to that we had something together, he and I. And then after I think maybe a few months, we announced that we had gotten married. Yeah.
So when you met Fred, you were in California. He had just got to California. Y'all met in California, though, correct?
We met on the show. Yeah, he had been there. We met on the show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So after you guys got married and you did your life thing and you were dancing and traveling, was there any type of conflict that like Fred didn't want to be with the Lockers? How did that go? Like, was there did y'all just separate from with that, or how long did he dance with the Lockers after he married you?
He was with the Locker for years, for a long time. It was a long time. a couple of years. Like Shab used to come over. Shab was still trying to get in the lockers, as a matter of fact. He wasn't quite in. He wanted to be in, but Shab was still just very arrogant and full of dance and full of everything and wanting to see his way. And so he used to come to the house and hang out. Shab was on the couch all the time. The story I could tell about Shabadoo. So it was quite some time before it was the best of times before Holly Weird came into the picture. And that's when everything turned. But when we were just us and doing the lockers and the lockers having gigs and the discipline of the travel and no love making, no nothing during performances or preparation. There was a discipline that everyone stuck to. They were serious about it. Everything was good. Life was good.
So you never had no conflict with none of the lockers, not one of them, nobody, everybody was good, not
a one. You know, they had but Tony, and I love Tony Basil. I appreciate her and respect her dance, but she was not there all the time. Tony was doing her things. You know, she had branched off in Bette Midler, and when Tony was doing her thing and finding her way, she would do some things, but the lockers were holding their own. And sometimes they would have gigs on the same day, a couple of gigs. So half of the lockers would go here and half of the lockers would be over there, you know, at another gig. So everything was fine. There was a lot of harmony within the brotherhood. They loved what they did. They lived for it. So it was good. It really was good.
Franchesska, I want to ask you about something that you said earlier. Earlier, you made a mention about basically that you came from a good family. You know, your mom, your dad, like came from a good family. And you said that you knew Fred's family. So do you feel like that Fred came from a good family? He had a good family structure, his mom, his dad, his siblings, or what did you think about his family when you met them?
His family was extremely different from my family, if I may say. Let's say for the wedding, let's say there was an envy, if you will, with his family, with my family. There was an envy. I don't know if it was the love that we had or the chemistry or the cohesiveness within my family that bothered his family. Am I saying what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm saying? So it was problematic, but you know, my mom is real grounded. She ignored it. It pissed me off. But my mom was like, babe, I'm not tripping. Don't trip, da, 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 da. But it upset Ping. It upset him because he was sensitive to that. And he adored my family. So he was drawn not just to me, but he was drawn to my family, to the environment with my family. So I didn't know that when he would come to the house and want to hang out, that he was coming to, you know, to be with my dad and to be with us. But now that I look back at it, he also appreciated, you know, coming to our big house and just being there. And we were all together and, you know, full of love. And I'm sure that he appreciated that very much. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And then I guess my next question would be, you said that everything was fine at first. You know, his personality was cool because he hadn't became a celebrity yet. You said he hadn't gotten to Holly Weird. So what would you say happened once he got into Holly Weird? Like, how did his personality change? And when did it start changing? Was this around What's Happening time? Or like, where was he at in his career when you started noticing a change?
I would say at the inception of the show, and he had a hard time because he didn't quite, I don't want to say he didn't fit with the lockers, because he did. He stood out. So we would always rework the choreography that he did and strive to find new ways for him to stand out, so that he just wasn't doing the same thing. I cannot explain to you how much we danced, he and I together. The majority of our relationship, he and I, we danced day and night at the house. And Shab would come over because we were always dancing. Always. I mean, people would probably think we were weird because we were always dancing. The only time we would stop is when he jumped on my furniture. And I'd say, boy, get off my furniture. Are you crazy? But he was using it for the buoyancy to try something. But we would dance like, it's crazy how much we danced. But that's where he would discover new moves or new things, and I would share things with him because that's what I dance professionally. So the growth in the dance, and plus it kept him at a particular size that he liked to be. He liked to be like a 36. When Ping was a 36, he was really happy. But if he got up to a 40, then he was uncomfortable. You know, he couldn't move as easily as he liked to. But when he was a 36, then he was good. So he was good. But once the show came, that's when the distance with the lockers started to happen. Not to say that they thought they were better, or let's just say it could be a possibility that he felt less than, inferior, you know, in some ways. Perhaps it was something with him because they were tall and he was, you know, shorter. And so he had some insecurities, if I may say. He had some self insecurities. But because of the dance that we did together that brought him out as an individual performer, it enhanced his persona, if you will. It enhanced him and he felt better. But then when the show came and all of the lockers also, they also read for the part as well. And Ping was the last to read the next day because he was at home and we talked about it and he got really discouraged. Are you speaking to me, Goddess? I can't hear you if you are. Oh, okay. He got really discouraged when all of them didn't make it. And I said, babe, you know, you're not the lockers. You're not them. You're you. And you bring something very different and unique. So just because they didn't make it, they weren't chosen, don't let that reflect you. That was yesterday. This is today. And you need to go. I remember that conversation like it was yesterday.
So you're saying that all the lockers tried out for what's happening? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying they read for the part.
Really?
They read for the part. Yeah. I think they had a gig or something in the city, but Ping was still out at the house, and they read, but they weren't selected. If not all of them, the majority of them, because I was out at home with Ping, and he said, well, you know, the guys, they read, you know, he just told me all the guys read, you know, so I wasn't there, but he said all the guys read and they weren't chosen. So they were kind of down because of course they were hoping, you know, if one of us gets in, then we feel like all of us got in, I'm gonna get you in, or you know how you feel like you want to get your boys in, but they didn't get chosen.
I never knew that. You just so you guys know, when she's talking about they did the reading and they went to what's happening, Rerun character is supposed to be a skinny white boy. So when Fred knew he was finna try out for just that, and it was supposed to be script typed as a white boy, Did he have any conflict with that because of his weight? Did he feel any kind of way? He was like, yeah, I'm just going to do it.
He did feel like that. But I told him, I said, it doesn't matter what they think they want. I often feel, if I may say, I just have to say what I feel. I won't say Europeans, but I feel that when artists, those who are creating art, you have a vision or you think you have the vision. But what happens is when someone with a gift comes that has the light on them, but you think you know what you want until you see something different. And then when you see something different and unique, it can sway you into wanting something different from what you thought you wanted. So I always told Ping that. I said, people don't know what they want. They think they know what they want until they see something different. And then when they see something different, they will choose that. But you have to give them an opportunity to see you. I believe that. I feel when I go somewhere, if I do work, or they may have wanted something else, but when they see me and they see my work, they will honor what I'm bringing to the table and say, this is unique. This is very different. I thought that I would want that, but what you're doing is different. It's something new, and I like it. And so you cannot just go and not do something. No one can not do something and pursue your dream, your vision, your gift because somebody thinks they want something. Because that's not how spirit works. You have to move forth and know that you are what they want. And so that is what I shared. That is what I shared with him. And I've lived all over the world. Been blessed to live in Egypt, in Australia, cultural ambassadress to Dakar, Senegal. I'm blessed to have family there. Shout out to my family in Dakar and Senegal. I miss you so much. That is where my peace is in Senegal. I suffer from drapetomania when I'm here in the United Snakes of America, KKA. Yes, I said it. I have to get out of here. And when I go home, I rest my spirit. But when I'm here, I strive to continue to elevate, to create, to honor whose and whose I am, and the greatness that we are and continue to be. And with that said, we can never not be whose and whose we are, and the best of whose and whose we are. And we're going to be in the face. I'm going to be in your face. And this is what it is. And you're going to get with this. You're going to get with this. So that's my feeling, if I may say.
I love the way you express yourself. I love the way you are so real and Afrocentric of what you say and how you say it. I'm just like you speak to the point. I'm getting teary-eyed. I don't even know why I'm gonna cry, you know. So yeah, so I have to say that. And so many people, if y'all ladies for sure are watching, this was the backbone behind Fred Rerun Berry. This was the backbone behind the man with the red beret. This was the peace and the light that he saw. And after that, I don't know what happened. We're going to get to that later. But he had some stuff with in between there that wasn't right, y'all. Because after he left this, she said something the other night on the phone, and I want to ask you. So, was Fred romantic? Did he cook for you? Did he, what did he do for you? I just, was he a good man running? Tell me what he did.
Let me take this pineapple juice. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
My husband raised me in the way that a lot of who and whose I am is because of my husband. Ping was so romantic and would.
What? Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Look, shut up, Heifer. Shut up.
Okay.
You're like so.
What the hell? What you say? Okay, I'm sorry. What? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, let me mute my. What the hell?
Sis, our husband was extremely romantic. We would, like, let's say Billy Preston was one of our favorite artists. Yeah, we would listen to wonderful music together. We sang together. Ping had a beautiful voice. He would speak the future into fruition. He'd say, you know, we don't have a lot of money now, but I promise you, you know, he knew where I came from. He knew I had everything. And I said, now you have me here. I was like, I really want to go home now. This is nice, but being poor, I don't like it. I want to go back home. And where I had everything. And he promised me, he said, this is just for a short amount of time, but we danced. So on the dance vibe, it was rich. And he'd catch me when I would just start getting homesick. And he'd say, babe, you know, this is, and he'd tell me stories of what we would do. And we go here and we go there. And a lot of what he said, it happened. It happened while we were eating the French fries. And he'd tell me these stories. Or when he'd run my bubble bath for me and he'd talk to me while I was in the bubble bath and ask me, what did I want to do? Where did I want to go? Did I want to dance all of my life? Did I want to remain in Untold in ballet shoes? He supported me in all of the levels of my dance. He was my rock. He promised me that he would take me shopping in New York and that he would take me shopping till I couldn't try on clothes anymore. And I was like, that will never happen. I will be able to change clothes forever. And I remember having on, leggings and having on a leotard and just some, regular drawstring pants. And Ping took me to New York. We stayed in a beautiful hotel. He called a limo. He took me shopping till I couldn't take my clothes off anymore. Till I just said, okay, babe, I'm done. And he laughed. He said, are you sure you can't shop anymore? I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. The dreams that he promised me, they happened, sis. This is our husband. They happen. He was a very sweet person in his heart before the corruption of Hollywood. He was a very sincere person before he started believing the hype, because so many people kept telling him, you know, you are this, you are that. And I kept saying, boy, you are 5 by 5, 5 feet tall, 5. Please do not believe the hype, babe. I'm begging you, because I could see him slipping. I could see him slipping. And I was losing my best friend. I was losing my best friend, my bestie. But when you have so many people hollering and saying this to you, and you had a hard life growing up, a difficult time growing up, and to have that kind of experience. I was raised with that kind of life. But to not have that kind of identity, and had it not been for Don Campbell, I remember him telling me, had it not been for Don, I don't know what would have happened to Ping. But it was Don that rescued him first. And then he said, then I rescued him. But then that's why I left home. You know, I'm from LA. I had so much going on. But there's just a particular beast, if you will, that I was simply not willing to pay. There's a cost to be had. I was not willing to pay that price after seeing so many stars, celebrities, lose their way. And he could not help himself after a certain time. And once you sell your soul, if you will, you cannot turn back. You can't, because once you are a character and they give you this name, a slave name, and people are calling you this name everywhere you go, he didn't want to be that character. The only time he felt that he wasn't that character is when we were together, because I called him Ping, because we would be together and I treated him as Ping because he was my husband. He'd come home from the show. You have to take out the trash. You have to do this. You have to do that. But you have to have a strong, strong, strong constitution. And you have to be around people that truly love you to not allow yourself for that to happen. When I left, I didn't say, oh, I'm leaving to everyone. I got my ish and I left because I wanted to have, I left at the top of the game. I said, I don't need this. I'm leaving. I want to have friends. I want to have friends, like my name, friends. Friends that really love me, that when I'm wrong, it's two left shoes. They will go, Franny, that's not cool, such and such and such. You know, so when I left and moved to the Bay Area, I did not tell people who I was. You know, they didn't know who I was. A lot of my friends, the few that I have, I can count them on one hand still, that are my true friends. I just did what I did and started, and they didn't find out really who I was until Unsung Hollywood came on. And I had danced, you know, for years in the Bay Area. Okay, Oakland in the house. Oakland with my girls in the Bay Area, and my bestie Yori and Shetty Coco Margot. Like, I had some girls, and they're still my besties. And, you know, they knew, but I had not said, and they were like, we knew it was something different about you. But you know, I said, I'm just me. They said, why didn't you tell us who you are? I'm like, but you know who I am. They're like, no, Franny, you didn't tell us. You didn't tell us. I said, but I'm me. I wanted you to love me for just me. That was just one of my lives. What am I in my fifth life now? That was just one of my lives. But I wanted to be loved for me. Exactly. Not for the foolishness. And so what I suffered through with him has shaped me and has left me being more private than I would really like to be. I have family on Facebook that I really love, but I don't reach out a lot like that because of things that I have gone through with peeing and just in the industry. Because I study a lot, because I have re-taught myself from the education that we got that was not whole. So I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly with spirit and being still to receive a higher way to elevate our peoples. And I miss everyone. I do in my heart. And like the way that you and I are. I love you so much. And it saddens me to see sisters calling each other on the television, B's and H's behind brothers. You understand? When here we are, you and I, from the first time we spoke, from the first time you and I spoke, just hearing your voice and how you reached out to me. And I said, sis, I love you, because we just have that her story together. What you and I know to be fact. And I hadn't had that. And I had been by myself for so long with this truth, because I didn't want to tell people what this brother did, how he hurt me, what he did, because I didn't want to be one to ruin any brother's life, because I knew his destiny. He would do it on his own. But that was difficult. And then here you came with being so sapphire and so fly and so beautiful and just out there. And I was like, I wish I could be like my sister, because she's so boss, and I love you so much for coming for me. And, you complete me, and I love you. And this is why I did this. You give me strength, you give me courage, and you mean so much to me. And so this was a cathartic experience, so I trust you, and I don't trust easy. I need you to know that. And I cannot find my voice and speak my truth if I feel there is danger, or if I'm speaking to someone who is not authentic and who is not my sister. And you are my Shetty Coco. You are my heart. And I love you so much. I love you so much. And I thank you for this opportunity to share my truth with my reflection, with my sister. And I pray that we have an opportunity to do it again. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm hugging you now, beauty. Don't cry. Don't cry. I know. I know.
Give me a bit. Yeah.
I know. They have no idea.
No, they don't. Listen, you guys, I did not know it was going to go this way. Just as there's so much good, there's a lot of hurt, but we're not going to get into it right now. I'm a prayer sister, no matter what y'all guys have seen through the years. I heard so many of Fred's stories. But as an activist and a woman and a mother, it had to make sense to me, and it didn't. So when I went to go find all the women that supposedly had been in Fred's life, the only one that really registered to me was Franchesska. See, what I noticed that, like, when you in the celebrity world, you got one woman, then you ditch her, you got another one, but everybody be left behind. And I felt like I would be less of a woman to know that this queen, like, embodied Fred and embraced Fred and gave him the good parts of him, because there was a hell of a lot of good parts. But there was some rough patches too. And
Yes.
I just felt like this was the time to like release, because so many times it's celebrity wise for sure. Our voice get through back somewhere, and as soon as that person say something,
Yes, sir.
everything else is done. Your
Yes, sir.
mouth don't matter, your face
Yes,
don't
sir.
matter, your voice don't matter. It doesn't even matter what you say, because if this brother is in the limelight, then our faces just go away. So yet it may took 19 years later from this man passing for us to get right here where I am right now. But gosh, I am so grateful, and I am so honored to have met you, Franchesska, to know you. Got all boo-eyed, and everybody gonna think I'm a punk up here on this thing. You know what I'm saying? But so many things you said was touching, but we shared that same vibe. And I can truly say out of his wives, wives, that this woman loved him. In between there, if you come from me, don't, because I'm gonna keep it real. Y'all know y'all didn't care for this man. It was just a whole lot of other stuff going on in between there, scallywags and everything else. But
Yes,
now
sir.
I know the truth. And straight up, let me keep it 100. Fred told me he loved Franchesska. He allowed me to know that she was the one that paved his way. But then you got all these other chicks want to say you bury what? Bury what? Bury just because you carrying that name. You could carry a title, but she represented all for herself. She represent the queen. She represent Fred. You can see it in her spirit. I see people talking how beautiful your energy is. So that's why you guys know I love you. Is this rare? For our Black culture, it may be rare, but no realness when you see it. No history in the making when you see it. And you guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You know what we were talking about, because it's going to get real deep. And you guys may not look at certain things the same anymore, but it doesn't matter. But what you have to realize in the back of your mind, for every woman for sure that watches this woman took over 30 years or more to even open her mouth about Fred. And keep it 100. In 2014, when I came with Franchesska and we did Unsung, I wasn't finna do nothing. I said, I ain't signing nothing. I don't care. Y'all all go do it. They couldn't do it without me. They couldn't do it without us. They could not do Unsung without us, because we knew who Fred was. Franchesska say, sis, honey, just do this for. She didn't have to go that far. When she said do this, I said, okay, send the paper. That's what her spirit did to me, because I didn't have to jump on the mic like that. And let me put something else out there. My last name was Alexander before I married Fred. Yet I carried his last name, and I recognize that. I just feel like Franchesska was the true person that paved the way for Fred. And he lost his way some kind of way. And then here we are today, mending what was lost. I cannot change what has happened in the past to this sister, but I can create where I feel like that she was not done right, or she was not. Let me find out when her and Fred divorced, if Fred didn't give her something, she can get it. It's hers. It's what it is. That's some real stuff for you guys. I can't take nothing that was not already mine, but I can give back what I knew should have been done before this time. I can change it now. I couldn't change it then, but I can't damn sure change it now.
All right now. Okay. Essie, were you finna say something else, Miss Berry?
I gotta get up.
I'm just hugging you now, sis. I love you so much. We did it, and I love you. We'll do it again. Hug yourself for me. Thank you, Miss Geneva.
Well, I do want to say thank you so much, Franchesska. You did an amazing job. You gave us a lot of information that we had absolutely no idea about, as far as you and Fred. I mean, this was really good, and I would really love to have you back on, not only so you can go on and express yourself more and let out even more of what you feel like that you would like to say, but because I noticed when you were talking, you kept throwing out a few little words, and I wrote them down, because I'm like, I would love to have Franchesska back on here to ask her, why do she say these things, and where do these words come from? She said, tell my vision. But we knew she was talking about television, but she said, tell my vision. I caught that. I wrote it down. She said, sister, but we know she's talking about sister. I was like, oh, that's cute. I like that. Sister, and tell live vision. information because they do be lying on that. They do be lying. But she throw out other words, and I would like to know where that come from. We ain't even got into the African dance because, like I said, my plan was to have pictures and videos showing why the ladies were talking. And one of the pictures I had was something that Franchesska had on her Facebook page, which was like a flyer of her doing African dance, but it was like described as exercise. And I was just talking to Essie about that. I was like, wouldn't that be fabulous if at whatever time, like whenever Franchesska feel like it, if she can show us some of them African dances where it feels like exercise and it helps us to lose weight or whatever. Like, I don't even know. But I'm just very interested in hearing about those things, Franchesska.
Speak about the feminine essence. We will speak about the feminine essence. And staying beautiful and getting beautiful and exercising, but it's not exercising. Yes, absolutely. You got it.
And I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, this was a really good interview. I enjoyed having you on. You and Miss Essie Berry saying how y'all talk and stuff. It's lovely. I mean, because who knows wives that are still talking to the ex-wives with a whatever, and y'all are just cool and talking and expressing. So I just think it's absolutely beautiful for everyone to be able to experience this on the screen today. Lovely people, lovely. But thank you so much, Franchesska. The plan is to contact you really soon to see about possibly doing a part 2. People, we will let you know.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Essie, anything else you want to say before Franchesska leaves?
I just want to say thank you both for having me on, Geneva, Franchesska.
Yes.
I didn't know I was going to get that emotional. We share things that no one else could. Y'all know, see, now y'all done bought the whip out of me. I feel like just running the room behind my face. You know what I'm saying? I be all this might be wolfing. I just want to run in like, dang, you know, but that's a part of it. Smiling, crying.
Yes,
And Franchesska, everything that you share with me, Fred had already told me a lot of it, and he told me so much more. But I'm going to be here to let the people know that is the truth, what our husband told me about you. And for me as a woman to want to listen, I had to know where that part of him came from. And they don't even know it's so much more through the lockers, through what's happening, through you and Fred. Y'all, there's so much more that you guys are going to find out. But I just wanted you guys to know where the original Miss Berry, the original Miss Franchesska, 100% beyond a shadow of doubt. I can hold that weight as a widow. And let me tell y'all something before I get off. Fred died one day before my birthday. We married October the 22nd, 1989 on my birthday. He died October the 21st, so I could be his widow. God knew that me and Franchesca was going to be here today and set this back straight the way it should have been 20 years ago. So what you don't do then, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Now this is first, and I need to hear everything that she has to say. The woman who paved the way for this man that we all admire today. Point blank and simple. And remember one thing, you guys. After doing this interview, and we're going to do more parts to it, you only got to understand one thing. Rerun, as she say, a slave name. Rerun, he legally got his name changed to that. That was a character. That's when y'all get it messed up when you see a person on TV. That's a character. Fred Berry was a real, Fred Allen Berry was a real live person.
That's right.
You're going to have to be able to separate the two when you guys get through hearing the rest of Franchesca's story and what she has to say. And I'm going to collaborate a lot of it because what I can say is I was her and she was me.
Yes,
so now we have the voice to be able to bring it out and don't hide. And let me say one other thing. I understand why Franchesca remains silent because so many times we want to protect our man, protect our reputation, but to protect their reputation. And in the midst of that, somewhere we go broken and we be alone because we cannot express who we are as individuals because this man or this person has already painted a picture. That's a picture being painted. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So y'all, it's going to get more juicy than it got tonight, but I love you guys again. I thank you guys. Much love to everybody in the box for sharing with Franchesca. I see so many people saying how her energy is. Y'all, that's why I love her. Her energy vibrates through this. And once we get through all this, maybe we can do some classes where we all got Franchesca on here. She's showing us how to do a little bit. We ain't got to have the pole. We can swing without the pole, but just let us know what to do a little bit. You know, I'm going to be looking at to do any of that. And again, Franchesca, you are light. And you are force.
Thank you, sis.
And people need to know that you choreographed a lot of the locker things and where they came from, how they are. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But I have to know your essence, your feminine essence, it's light in and out. You say what I'm saying? And I don't forever go away, beautiful. I want some of it. I need some of it. I got some of it. Like, not for the running here look like a wimp. I'm done.
Love you, sis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you too, Franchesca. You have a fabulous evening. We'll be talking to you soon.
I will do so. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Bye.
Down at a restaurant and you tip. Then you go get some coffee, but you got to tip again. Then, God forbid, you order some food because you got to tip again. This whole tipping thing has gotten completely out of hand. What's even more crazy about it is that we're not doing anything to stop it. We're helping these billion-dollar businesses get richer. That's why I wrote the book, Why the Fuck Are We Tipping? Make sure you go check out my book coming out March 20th called Why the Fuck Are We Tipping? Because something needs to stop. I would like to know how you all feel about this situation, and while you are letting me know, could you please like and share this video and subscribe to Genevas Closet if you haven't already done so right here on YouTube. And you can follow me on Facebook at Genevas Closet, and you can email me at genevascloset22@gmail.com. You all have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.